Alrighty, so this is Sports Goofs number 169. Yes, so that's the second nice one. So what's up, everybody? This is Francesco here, just by my singular buddy Charles here. Andrew's not here; he's just gone. He's missing. We don't know where he is. He probably fell into the Andrewverse, the multiverse. So maybe when he comes back, we'll get a different version of Andrew. So that'll be interesting to see. What's up, Charles? How's it going?
Nothing much. I have this image, and I'm gonna start off with the statement of I would totally pay if I can get the $10 back I pay to see No Way Home, to see a alternate Andrewverse movie. I would definitely be about that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna poop on that movie forever. And or I was about to say DC, Marvel, and Disney were just so desperate that Sony made a better multiverse movie than anything they churned out, that they just keep trying to, but they're trying to put a square peg in a hole, man. It ain't gonna work. But besides that, I have to figure out the game assortment here, because usually when it's a two-man show, I can't do certain things. I have to have things that are typed out or paused out, so I can't do like online play. But I'm also, sometimes I have to look at stats and be more than what I am, which is a talking figurehead, right? But I was too lazy to put in WWE. The gaming fatigue. I'm back to wrestling. Yay! I was feeling it the last 2 weeks, which I didn't want to even continue my pay-per-view that I had set up, which I think was Backlash. But I haven't touched my PS5 in a week because my Switch is beginning too much love. My PS5 is kind of jealous. Ramona don't care. It's like, baby, I make anything. Because I did a lot of gaming with both the Rabbids 1 game, Kingdom Battle, and then Bayonetta 3, which I beat on Sunday. And so I was like, you know what? Last week worked pretty well, where I did an hour of Fighters, because Fighters was an OG game that I played when I first kind of started on the show, and it's a long game if you just play the story. So I was like, all right, now I can play characters that went in the story. And then I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put on Black Ops, because the problem is sometimes the PS5's controller, you're making a lot of sound noises that come into it, aside from the typical triggers that you hear. It's that haptic feedback and everything. So I haven't decided yet. If Andrew had allowed me, because I have to always get a week, every week to mention it, and he's not here, so it's not even a fair shot. But if had Andrew allowed me, Andrew, if you are listening, this is directed at you, buddy, all love. If Andrew had allowed me just to buy NHL 22, I'd be fully ready for the hockey season. When you think about we started this 2 months ago, almost, or this petting this 2 months ago, and this could have been sequence, but no, someone played the morality hand. Like, you don't wear clothes made in a child sweatshop, but hey, whatever. So NHL 2024, because that is a perfect game for the show, where it's going to teach me hockey, really. I think that I always knew basketball, but I'm talking about knowing people's names, what their abilities were. That was with the 2K series. The same thing with Madden. The show, I know enough. I know enough to not care to certain degrees with baseball, because I'm like, what do I care about the Reds are doing? Now I kind of care what the Reds are doing. What do I care about what the Pirates did years ago? What do I care about the Diamondbacks were doing? But so that the vision, kids, is if we're all still around come October, the vision is alternating some weeks, some shows, and we do 4 shows a week without special exceptions. The draft's coming up, everybody.
That's what we're doing next week.
Yeah, it would be, I would say, what will we say? It would be 1 week being NHL 2K24, or I'm sorry, it's not 2K24, NHL 24, whatever EA has, because they have an output and everything. And then 1 week being WWE 2K22. So it's like a perfect blend, because I get to do my own little sick fantasies, because I know they say that Triple H is still in charge. I'll believe it when I see it. I get to create the better world of what I want. And then I get to learn more about hockey during the time of the season. I know basics. We have matriculated pretty well in 5 years.
Yeah, you picked it up. You picked it up a little bit.
We have to do crash courses here. Man.
Yeah.
That's what it is. We got to go all or nothing. You got to go balls deep, as the puck deep is the way I'll say it. So that's where I'm at now. It always kind of tough to figure out what game you want to play. Also, during the show, I was thinking about doing the Borderlands 3 DLC and continuing that, because I finished one DLC, but there's 3 other ones. But when people talk and there's some stories, I want to get engaged, because these are. It's not as if it's Japanese subtitles. Like, I can do Yakuza actually pretty well, because I don't understand Japanese, so I can just read. Can't do that with American subtitle or American dialogue. It's different for you because you're not gaming now. And remember, everybody,
I'm not.
When it's a Francisco and a Charles show, when it's a Francisco and Charles show, it's a little
yeah, we're gonna lean on that. We haven't talked about gaming news in a bit either.
Sports will happen. We promise.
Yeah, it's a sports show. Whatever. Hockey's happening. I'll mention it a little bit, but for now we'll talk about this because it's been weird. I've been like I said, I played home. I played home front, and then I kind of burnt out. I don't know if it was burnt out or just the game just disappointed me in such a way that I just kind of lost all sort of enthusiasm for my gaming. But I picked it up a little bit over because I went to Dallas a couple weeks back on a quick work trip. So I got the Switch retro games going. So I played through some Super Nintendo games that I was kind of like on the brink of beating, and I beat them. So I knocked some out, and I played a Sega Genesis game as well. Pokemon Stadium came out for the Switch.
All right.
So yeah, I've been going through that. So those bring so many happy memories to me, and I never owned them. My best friend at the time, he owned both Pokemon Stadium games and the transfer packs. I just had Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Gold. So what I would do is I'd head on over to his place, and we do the Pokemon battles. So he had 2 transfer packs, so we could do the battles with our own Pokemon in 3D. So that was the cool thing. That was the best thing. Unfortunately, there's none of that on the Switch, which kind of hinders the experience of Pokemon Stadium for anybody who's never played it. You're not getting the full thing. The whole point of those games was to use your Game Boy games and put them in 3D. That was the moment. You could take photos with them, take them to Blockbuster. That was fantastic. You got to have them printed out. Now you got to use the rental Pokemon who have basic whatever preset moves and everything, and it's fine and all. You can go through the gym battles that they have in the game, but it's not as fun. It's not as fun as going through the Game Boy games, which people were like, oh, maybe they'll release them on the Game Boy Switch, and you'll play through them, and then you can transfer them over. I'm like, Nintendo's not gonna put that much effort into this. Yeah. They would charge you in order to do that. They'll charge you an extra $10 a month in order to make that happen.
I mean, look, they would have to recode it to make the Pokemon Home stuff for anything OG. But Home, I have Sword and Shield. I played through Shield, Sword somewhere hiding that I have to do a quick run on to transfer over for.
Yeah.
Look, when if I can carry over my level 70s, that game's gonna be 10 hours at most.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just cruise through, beat everybody, and go from there. I got all what I needed out of Shield. Look, if I got 45 hours out of a Pokemon game, we've done well. I can't be the game also is not a complete game. So I'm going to say this real quick. Sorry, Nintendo and Game Freak. You can't say I can complete the library of a game and get the Pokedex filled out. It's not a Pokedex in the current stuff. I forgot what they call it, right? But or whatever the short change is. If I have to pay DLC to find new Pokemon. So that was kind of my whole, I don't need to be an obsessive compulsive about this. Because that was also an OG show game. Perfect game. Yeah. I encourage anybody. If you're listening to podcasts and you're getting into gaming and you're figuring out if it's for you or not, 100% look into a Pokemon game. I'm not even saying it because, we're nerds on Nintendo. I have skipped generations of Pokemon games.
Oh, yeah.
But those kind of games, or even if you want to look into something that might not be for you, how about Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle or Sparks of Hope? Because I want that franchise. After one game, 30 hours in with DLC bought, I want that series to continue. That's saying a lot for me.
Yeah, it's fun.
Those are the kind of games that you would go into. But it's not Shield and Sword was a complete game. And despite the frame rate issues that are never going to be fully complete, I am excited for Scarlet when that time comes. And that's when I would get the Pokemon Home and go from there. I will say this about Stadium. Shit was a game changer in 1999 when it came out because I remember, or 2000, because I remember, I didn't have a Game Boy, so I would borrow Anthony Matos's. And if I remember your name, you impacted my life in some way. Anthony, don't know what you're doing now, bud. Don't really care. Don't hit me up for legal advice. Please don't be a convict. You always want to wish well for people. The idea, though, is that I never had a Game Boy. Handhelds were weird. I didn't understand the structure of it fully because I was like, but I have Sega. I have Nintendo, right? I have
big screen.
I just got, right? It feels like modern day Charles still coming around. 10-year-old and 33-year-old still around. But not to get long-winded, the idea is like he would let me borrow his Red with batteries. He paid the kid like $5, whatever. You got to do fair here. Fair. There's a little bit Colombian in me, guys, so I got to do my proper dealings. Okay, just saying. Everybody's like, this white guy is Colombian. I'm like, yeah, sorry. That's why I'm excited for Tampa for the food. Anywho, but you're going and seeing these Pokemons that everything was 2D because it was 2D from the games in a very small screen, and then 2D in the television show.
Yeah, we'd never seen them in 3D before. We're like, how
they looked great. The N64 is I still think the N64 had a better quality than the PS1. I'm sorry, kids.
It's true.
Over it.
That's
but the blockiness of some N64 games weren't always the most appealing, but I thought they shaded up well. It was very rough in like 96 and 97, 98, 99 when it was on the Swan song. In 2001, I think.
Oh, yeah. DK64, Mario Tennis, Majora's Mask. Yeah, Pokemon Stadium 2.
And then you saw Stadium. I never played 2 because I remember going to Hollywood Video. That's how old we are, kids, where it was the competitor Blockbuster to getting it and we're rented out. So that was the game changer. And you still remember it. It was the Charizard. It was the Pikachu. That's why, like, when Let's Go Pikachu came out, I was like, I know this isn't going to be the kind of Pokemon game I like because it was super easy. And, the idea that I can catch without having to fight for it was kind of disappointing, but it was a very therapeutic game. I think that was the OGest of sports goofs gaming that I did, and that was the $50 I put in. But I still had that cool sensation, like fuck yeah. So Stadium holds a bit of my heart because I probably did do 2 or 3 weekends of it. But the problem is no GBA transfers to build over. So I was very much in the dark, unlike you guys were, and I would just like to have that component if I was to do it because Stadium is a great concept. What's sad, man, and everybody's gonna yell at me. All the spin-offs that these Pokemon games seem to get, and they get so much, people don't realize if you just go on the eShop, which you TM putting in the corner. They remember Pokken Tournament, which
I have it on. I didn't play it when it came out, but in the used game lot, I got it on the Wii U. So I haven't. It's there. I've wanted to start it, but I haven't started it yet. It's on the Switch too.
Yeah,
if you want to get it.
I played it with my buddy because he bought it because he's a big Pokemon fan, so he got it for him and his cousin. And I'm like, on surface, it would be probably the best fighting 3D game that you can have. But then I have Pokemon Stadium where you can actually do real powers. It's not developed into being I wouldn't want to say it's like Tekken, but it felt like Tekken 8 years ago when I played it. So Stadium, a game that came out nearly 25 years ago. For me, quarter century, could probably be more engaging for me to play than that other game, the current thing, Pocket. But also it's because they had a very crappy roster. They didn't get the DLC. Nintendo, man, thank you for being better with the Switch. I am probably going to buy Mario Kart. We're going to discuss that in a second. Since we're on the gaming aspect of the show, we will get to sports, everybody. Calm your pen. Esports is real.
Yes.
Yeah, well, we have some things to talk about. I'll tell you that for sure, buddy. Anywho, but it's amazing how that can transcend because that was life-changing. You remember waking up watching at 5:30 a.m. and then seeing 2D stuff, and then on a big screen with that big ass television.
I'd make excuses just to come over just to play Pokemon Stadium at his house. I mean, he's like really lived across the street from me, so that was not a very far away walk, and we'd do sleepovers all the time. So he let me borrow his game and his transfer pack every once in a while too, so I could play it on my own.
That's a good man right there.
Yeah, so that came in clutch there, but yeah, Pokemon Stadium was just like that. That was an obsession of mine. I just never got to sit down and properly complete it. I would play. I'd have enough time to do little bits and pieces, but it was just mainly us going at it in verses. So this will be the first time I'll probably get through it to at least the main single player portion from start to finish. But my only gripe is, man, I wish I could bring my old boys from back in the day. So my 6-team combo at the end of Pokemon Yellow was, of course, the Pikachu.
You always have to keep with your starter. That's the rule of thumb. If you don't do it, you're like you're a psychopath.
Well, Pokemon in Pokemon Yellow, you can't put the Pikachu in the box. You have to have the Pikachu with you the entire game.
But I'm talking about your starter always has to stay with you no matter what iteration.
Oh, yeah.
Ride or die. Yeah, sure,
That's
you
true.
can take them out of a couple rounds and stuff like that. But when you're in that finale, baby.
Yeah. No, you always have to stay with your starters. So I had the Pikachu, and Pokemon Yellow was great because you could get all three of the starters too. So I had the Venusaur, I had the Blastoise, I had the Charizard, and then I caught Mewtwo at the end. Of course, you beat the Elite Four, then you go to the cave and you take on Mewtwo and you capture him with the Master Ball because that's a smart way of doing it. And then I swear, man, the most clutch Pokemon in all of Pokemon is like no, and I don't know. It just seems like it every single Pokemon game that I've played that has this Pokemon in it. Whatever, like Venomoths are legit. It's the
poison in the sleep, man.
Like sleeper Pokemon. Like if you got a Venomoth, you're good. Like they are clutch. They're so unseeming. Like you don't expect them to do much, but I swear, man. So eventually, like Pokemon Stadium 2 came out, and that was like when you could find out the gender of all your Pokemon. So
and that changed everything.
All my Pokemon, Mewtwo doesn't have gender, but like. Blastoise, my Charizard, my Venusaur, my Pikachu, I wanted to find out what they were. And they're like, oh, they're all males. I'm like, oh, okay. And my Venomoth was the only female, but she was clutch. She would just get bodied, but then like hang on to 1 HP and put out like a Psy-Wave or paralyze somebody, like just somehow, some way, just gets you just enough for the next Pokemon to pick up what she just did. So that was like, and it just seems like the thing. So every time, if I do get a chance, if there is a Venomoth in any Pokemon game that I got, I will hunt out like a female or at least the Venonat and evolve it. And I'll be like, I need one of these as an homage to my original Venomoth because, man, she was clutch. So I always need a female Venomoth at some point.
And that's what's so weird for me in this generation because I went red and yellow and then I skipped out on black, white, and a lot of stuff. I just didn't have it. And then X and Y, I borrowed my nephew's 3DS. I had no goddamn shame. And then I didn't get to do the whole completion, of course. But here we are with like these now mega evolutions, and that's still a tricky thing.
I got way too complicated around them. I can't keep up with this.
I have no problem with what they have now, which is Gigantus, because I just think of it as like on steroids. But to get me to a new, I can barely remember. That was interesting. I have like nicknames. The problem is that when I played Shield, it made me kind of realize that some of the newer Pokemons are actually better than some of my older ones. And there were some ones that I were using, but it's the same kind of fairy or plant base if you have poison, restore, or sleep. Plain and simple. Like you need one of those foundationally in there. Do not get caught up, and this is just my opinion. I don't have badges to show for it. Do not get caught up in the idea that you need like heavy hitters and then everybody's got to be a fire team. You're not red here. Lightning does help though. A good electricity one, but it might not always be the Pikachu. So you kind of have to craft the team. But there were some of them I like. But the problem is that there's some of them that I don't like remember. I just I just make nicknames of it because I used to be a purist. But I'm like, no, it has to be the name. That has to be a Clarion, nothing else. That kind of thing. It has to be Voltage. But then I'm a very obnoxious human being. Anybody who just who took a breath and just died of shock, it's okay, come back. We all know this. So everybody gets nicknames, where if it's friends, family members, women I've dated, my pets. So I like the first thing I did was when I had like Pikachu, I would call it Pikachica because that's always like the nickname. And I want to put eyelashes on her and put a face, but then I'll just have some stupid names in there. And then I think I put one for my dad because it was like a Snorlax. I'm like, Carlax. It's just the little things. Because once you become an adult, I will tell you this, looking up between Shield generation and then Scarlet generation, they got kind of lazy with a little bit of the names. I was like, come on, you could do more. But it was it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable.
If there's anything that makes me want to play the newer ones, because I haven't like, I saw the graphics and stuff like that and all the bugs and everything like that. And I'm just like, okay, they kind of discouraged me from trying it out. if it ever does go on sale, maybe I'll get it after that. But
I'll send it to you each time. I've offered to just lend you Violet. I could just mail it to you and just mail it back. It's the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants game.
That's true. Yeah, you have both copies, so you could play one, I could play the other. We just do trades, and then whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm sick of it.
I led my friend Violet, and then she killed it in like 50 hours.
Oh, okay.
So like it is always there for you.
All right, but regardless, like I just want to. I haven't really looked or researched anything on the new Pokemon games because even if I do get it, I kind of want to be surprised by it. That's kind of I did like so that's why I want to just see like the names of all the new ones because they're all Spanish inspired, I would assume. So I just want to get the references,
I just want it like is this wrong that I just want a Pokemon to be called like that's if it's Spanish, it'll be like bandeja, and I'm like yes, or by something yes, just give me a true. I mean, Lechonk won me over.
Yeah, Lechonk.
That's really like he is coming. I don't care. I think my starter pack's gonna be the Donald Duck one. I haven't looked at the names for a while, but I saw Lechonk. I'm like, wait, are we just calling him Lechonk in Spanish? I'm like, this is
Lechonk.
This is me, and I'm gonna keep him. You ever love a starter evolution, and you have to kind of like steal two, so you can keep one on the final evolution, but you just have to keep one of the original just because it's adorable. That's what's going to happen with Lechonk. And I need that because I am stupid and I don't use much of my screenshots or my saves on my Switch. I've been doing it a lot more lately. I have some stuff for Bayonetta. I'll never get into streaming. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could, but it demands more of me and my time, and I feel this undue pressure. I don't know how you do it. But when I play Scarlet, eventually Violet, when I get the Pokemons, I'm just going to screenshot them on the ones I liked in the stupid little nicknames. It's just cute. It's just it's fun, and that's what you want out of Nintendo games. But no, I mean, to bring it all back, Stadium is one of those games where I would encourage Andrew, who is a very sheltered boy in video gaming, to have that cherry popped, if I can say so, and enjoy it, right? Because Stadium is you can have the come based on it. Because I think for the younger people who actually do listen to us, y'all don't really understand. We are playing catch up to what is out there that y'all have. So this is a way for us to kind of not have to play catch up. You guys have to be like, oh, this is what you have. And we're like, yes, this is what we had. And it's even one that if I did ever do, if I had a good deal, the N64 plan, I would contemplate popping into it because I don't think that one's free. The Sega one and that one's not free, correct?
Yeah, no, yeah. If the Sega Game Boy Advance and N64.
I feel like the Sega Game Boy
unless you want to pay me and join in on my family plan because I still got spots open. So
but I got mine.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you gotta. It's a whole thing.
It's like Papi Charlo. That's the handle, kids. Come follow.
Hey, you don't have to change your handle. It's just you just jump on. Technically, I'm on my sister's account and I just pay her. So that's what we're doing. I just let mine lapse and then I told her to upgrade and I'll join up on hers. So that's what I'm doing.
I'm also a grown man. I can pay for it if I need because my thing is my nephew.
But a lot of people are doing the thing. And it's like, hey, there's 8 spots. It's $80. Something like that. $80. So that's like $10 for each person. For a whole year.
You're better than me. I would have been like, all right, if the 20 is what I pay normally, and then if you're sending me $15, I would just give you the 5. I'm a bad Colombian dealer. But I'm too honest.
Yeah, well, whatever. But I mean, I've got my money's worth out of the subscriptions.
Oh, trust me. I do this sick thing where after we're done doing the Splatoon Fest, and if Andrew was here, we when he comes up next show, because that's going to be before the week of the Doom, if you remember.
Okay, no. So next week,
the draft.
Next week we're not doing a regular show. We're doing the draft because I can't do 2 in this week, especially the draft because I'm always trying to hang myself by the end of it. So we're doing that. We got the video game draft. That's happening. I got to start planning that out. I got to get a spreadsheet going.
Yeah, I'll make note.
We got to tell Andrew to actually get put some effort into it, as well.
Kirby. I never even asked him if he's played a Kirby game. Though.
He's played we'll give him Master Chief. He's gonna take it. I know he's gonna do that.
No, I'm gonna be a dick and I'm gonna take it. I have played Halo.
You're gonna force him to look up Final Fantasy characters.
Yeah. Oh, let me take Squall, and then every nerd out there's like, "Don't take Squall. He's so lame." Like what? He doesn't doesn't get to own Master Chief because he likes him. I like Halo as well, damn it. I play a majority of them. I'm sorry that I was in law school. I couldn't play Reach, but spoiler, they all die. So there's nothing that you need to tell me. I'm the one who actually said ODST was the better Halo game before I played 4. Everybody wants to fight me on that. I'm like, why? It was more simplistic because 2 was like just there. And this guy, I'm fighting someone online. This is like the worst thing ever.
2 was just there. Like I haven't played 2, but I've read the stories of its development, and it was hell.
Yeah,
it was there just to get money out the
multiplayer.
Yeah,
sure.
That was the only reason it exists. It really doesn't exist for anything else.
Yeah, and that's like 3 was fine. I actually liked 4, except for the anticlimactic ending. I thought 4 was hard sci-fi that I enjoyed, and that bothers people. But no, I'm gonna be a dick. I'll take I'll take him. I'll take.
I gotta. Yeah, but I'm a thing.
Master Chief's mine.
Oh, speaking of video games,
I'm gonna relegate him to the NES, Super Nintendo, and Sega characters they play. I'm like, oh, who's Alex Kidd? Who is this guy? Fuck. And then who's Alucard? And then everybody's gonna be screaming, and they're going like, oh my god! I'm about to
Alucard's a good character to pick. I'm gonna tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Eddie Belmont. Like I really just wish, man, we would have gotten that goodish. You know what I mean? I love me some old Castlevania games. That's what I would have been playing if I was 3 years older when they came out, when I first got around to them, because they were hard. Because you have to understand, like Dungeon, you got what, a year and change on me at most. So if I was just evolved, kids, if I was just evolved, I would have been all about that stuff. I was just stuck with platformers sometimes. Oh, shit, I'm about to win. All right, but you were saying, so I can concentrate, and then you talk to me.
Yeah. Well, what are you playing? You playing 2K?
I'm on Fighters, and I'm playing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. That's right.
And this guy's going on Goku Ultra Instinct, and I hate the fact that this son of a bitch. I'm sorry. I got caught. That was on me because I don't pay for the DLC Fighters. I should, but I don't. Fighting games are weird. On Smash, I'm confident against the guy. I am confident against the guy. You played me. And I'm like, it is pure chaos mode, and that's why I think Andrew would hate playing Smash with us, because he's just gonna give me your best fighter, and I'm like, I'm gonna give you random, and I'm gonna let you know that on your best day and on my worst. And then some days I'm absolutely terrible.
Body him with Jigglypuff.
Yeah. Oh man, but I'm telling you right now, that is the best feeling.
Yeah.
To win with Jiggly, and you know what?
Pichu.
Put Jigglypuff. I didn't play as Pichu a lot. He's unnecessary as a character for me, and I understand people liked him for melee, but it's cute.
Yeah, I've gotten bodied by people who play Pichu.
Yeah, because he's so damn quick and tiny. But no, please put Jigglypuff and act like I won't pick that character. Act like I won't pick that character. Straight up, I'll do it on the memory. So that actually begs a good question. And we need it. We'll put it in there for the one person who's listening right now on my psychotic spiel. Are we going to characterize and put in? Should we have preference of any video game character who has crossover appeal? Because that hits you on your Smash stuff, your Mario Kart, but that also hits you on your PlayStation All-Stars and even Fortnite to a degree, right? I don't know any main character Fortnite.
I mean, I'm going to be assembling it as, what if I wanted an all-star team of, like, people I need to go into battle with me of some sort, Okay. That'd really be it. Let's see. So, but I did want to talk that Tears of the Kingdom trailer, my friend.
Oh, okay. I've been waiting. I thought you were just having that day and everything like that.
Yeah, no, we'll talk about that more in the draft. We'll have our reasonings and stuff like that, But hey, Tears of the Kingdom. Are we
going to be? Oh my God! If he literally, I'm saying it right now, if he picks Link, my petty ass, I'm gonna say it. Which one? I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, that's true.
Which one?
Yeah.
Because if you give me like Zelda or Link's Awakening Link, I'm like, that might not be. He's a cool one. He's a cool dude, but he might not be the guy I wanna die with. Breath of the Wild Zelda. I'm just saying, like Link. I keep I'm on this big mindset. But Breath of the Wild Link, I'm like, the dude just fought this big spectral spirit named Ganon. So I'm like okay with that. I would also take Wind Waker because he just kills a samurai, and I need that man to play that game because I'm on that hard take from the 5 Zelda games I played where I'm like, Wind Waker's my favorite. Breath of the Wild is, but Wind Waker has that little expansion. But anyway, let's do Tears of the Kingdom.
So Tears is coming out, and watching this trailer makes me, if I do get back into gaming, I'll probably just get back into Breath of the Wild just to get a warm up. Because I played Sable. which was I think my non-sponsor a couple weeks back or 3 weeks back before I got into my little my down period here. But like Sable was fine. It was kind of like a precursor. Or at least it was inspired by Zelda, so it felt great. It felt exactly like it.
You need sometimes the genre to get ready for the genre. Like how I did with God of War Ragnarok. I was like, all right, let me play, God of War PS4 to get into that sequence. Same thing when I did Last of Us. Anything of that genre. If I was going to do a platformer, let me get another platformer. I think I did when I was doing Crash Bandicoot. Shit like that. So I get you.
Yeah, so Breath of the Wild, so I might get back into it just for that reason alone. But Tears, the last trailer just came out, and my goodness gracious,
Tears of your genitals.
Yeah, like this is this is the Zelda. This is it. This is the one.
So, this is right.
This is gonna be it. Like this is the one. This is the one that.
So I sent you
Game of the Year already. Like it's happened.
It's how I felt about Ragnarok. Remember, I'm like, I just know nothing's gonna make me happier than this. I feel bad. I'm more excited about
like what else what else is coming out this year from like for PlayStation or PC or Xbox. That's
Spider-Man 2 is the only fighter. I told you. I said Spider-Man 2, and then I do have Resident Evil 4 remake. I actually have a tougher build than you do, because one of them is a console exclusive, and the other one you're not a Resident Evil guy. So,
I know. I'm not like I haven't played any of the Resident Evil games. Surprising to say, but like I haven't, and they've been on Nintendo consoles, which is like so it's not like I have an excuse. Like 1 through 4 and 0 all came out on the GameCube, and then like the 3DS even had some Resident Evil games. Like so it's not I have a PC now, and they're all on there. So I just haven't had a chance to give it. Now I have an Xbox One, so I just never really jumped into it. If I do, I guess I'd have to start with I think Resident Evil 0 has been re-released on the Switch, so I'd give it a go on there or something like that. But
you can also do it on your game laptop. The problem is you now have your Xbox, so you have to justify it.
Xbox is hard because once again, it's an Xbox One S, so it's not like the best version of it. Yeah. So anything that I get on there, and if it's on PC, why would I make that choice?
Oh, that's right. You're not diskless. You went with the disc. So yeah.
Yeah. No, that one has a
Right. It takes a minute. Well, because the idea though is that you have access to RE2, 3, and 4 remakes, which is just supreme. Because the plan with that
on PC, yeah.
Well, but I thought you could do it on the Xbox. Well, you get the higher frame rates on it.
I'll get the higher frame rate. I'll get the 4K. I'll get that's
and
what I would do. That.
Mods.
Yeah. And the mods. That's the other thing about PC games. Like I can get like Sonic Frontiers has a bunch of mods already, and I'm just like, I don't want to reinstall it because I might not come back.
Well, when that DLC comes in, will be my first thing.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I have legitimate,
Knuckles.
Right. I have legitimate. I have legitimate fighters because it's not. Because what the problem is that Zelda itself is a long gestating game. We're going 75 hours here, guys. It's just, it's expected, and I don't want to rush it, coming into it. But when I watched the Nintendo Direct, Daddy was like, "Oh, okay, Francisco, there's some powers and shit like that. I want him to do more magic than the magic words." And when you say Charles magic, I'm talking about mana. I'm talking about give me that weird shit to connect all that stuff. We're not getting that. We're getting something awesome. But I was like, "Hey, the Direct's cool. It's fine." And then I saw this trailer. I watched it twice, back to back. What are your impressions? Because you already know what my impressions. They're not PG. They're not even PG-13. They're not a car. They are Johnny Sins related.
So Breath of the Wild. I love Breath of the Wild. It was great. It was my first Switch game. My sister got me a Switch for my birthday, 2017. Came with a digital download of Zelda. And I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. And that was the game that I played. I played it for so many hours. And that was when I started my career. And I was traveling for work. So I was playing Breath of the Wild on the planes. That's why I have 125 hours into that game. So it's that was the game that I was playing. So for the longest time, that was that. And so it was Splatoon 2. That's basically what I was switching off and on between. And then Mario Odyssey.
That's a good starter.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey. So it was those 3 games were it. And because I had Mario Kart 8, but I didn't. Once again, I played so much of it on the Wii U. It was okay, it's there, it's fine. So playing Breath of the Wild, just trying to remember the experience of it. Just the exploration aspect, all of that was cool. That was like, okay, we got the big giant world and things like that. But I always thought, and that's like when the DLC came out, I was like, okay, that's cool. They did some extra stuff a little bit, but it didn't go all the way. I'm like, okay, they got the world all set up. They've got everything ready to go. I just thought they were keep doing like, okay, the Switch is going to be the first Nintendo consoles is going to be like doing like expansion, almost live service type of thing, right? Where you're just going to get, okay, this is the first expansion, second expansion, third expansion, just new storylines because they got this giant world that they already created. And they've got all these mechanics from, the crafting and the physics and all that stuff that you can do all kinds of wild stuff. You go on YouTube, you can see what people do with this game that they probably didn't really intend for people to do, but hey, people can do it. And so I was like, okay, let's see. But they only had like really one or two updates that were not very far between each other. And then that was it. And it really one of the updates was basically like any RPG or anything like has like a not a boss rush, but like, you beat one level of enemies, one wave of enemies, and then you move on to another room, beat another wave of enemies. Then you see how far you can go until you reach like, room 100, and then you get like
we
special
call that
item at the end.
It's a tower game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, basically. And then they had the extra stuff, which was just like you get a motorcycle. That was it. That was really the prize at the end. So I'm like, okay.
And that is so typical Nintendo to piss you off like that. Because remember, that's why I didn't get the Kuroko seeds. Because you get the big golden turd.
Yeah,
okay, I don't want to. Yeah. And that's why I didn't do the Master Cycle challenges.
And yeah, that was the other thing with some of the stuff in Zelda. It was like, okay, you could do all of that, but I'm like, there's no reason to if I just get a big giant golden poop. So
yeah.
There's no reason for me to I would look for them when they were around and be like, okay, I got one, I got another one, and see how many I could get along the way of me doing other stuff, but I wasn't going to go out of my way to find them. So I was like, okay, I thought there would be more for storylines, more for, mysterious areas and legends and stuff like that, in like their own little localized thing. Maybe not completely like, oh, this has everything to do with Ganondorf and all this other stuff. Like, no, it's just, look, there's like a little thing. And it's like, nice little side quest and its own little thing in like this village or this area of Hyrule. But this game, I feel like they harnessed everything that they did with the first one. The first one kind of felt like it was basically like, okay, this is our first shot at this type of game, so they couldn't do all the ideas that they wanted to do. And much like Mario Galaxy was amazing. Mm-hmm. But like you could tell like they didn't do everything they wanted to do. And then they made Mario Galaxy 2, which I prefer over Mario Galaxy. I love Mario Galaxy. It's fantastic. It's great. One of the best games I've ever played. But Galaxy 2
is fantastic. Remember when the whole Superstars came out? Like, Francisco, why must God spit in my face?
Because they're about to charge you $70 for a remastered version of it. That's what they're gonna do. So,
hey, listen, you could charge me. I ain't paying it. I got other things. That your boy's looking at PSN store right now for the Forbidden West DLC to get for free because I'm dirty like that. I'm dirty.
Like this new one is doing all the things they want to do. They know what the engine's like, and they fixed the biggest thing that you're like, man, if the freaking if your swords and weapons break and all that stuff, I'm gonna be pissed off. And like, yeah, it's gonna break, but you're about to turn this into some cool stuff. You can make vehicles now. You can make your own little boats, and your own little cars, and your little hovercrafts and airplanes.
Yeah, y'all bastards like Minecraft and Fortnite. We Zelda-fied it, and you're like, what?
Yep.
I could beat that man with that? Sure.
Yep.
If Link can have a chonkla to hit somebody, I'll be very happy.
And they're like, oh, hey, everybody hated the Sky World and all that stuff from Skyward Sword, but it's like, okay, well, we're gonna add it to this game. I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing that now. That's great. So this is I don't know how they're doing this, honestly, on the Switch. Like, I don't know. Like, you look at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and people are like, "Oh,
Game Freak is not Nintendo."
Exactly. That's why. So I don't know what they're doing, but this is definitely and honestly, like this has to be the last big one for the Switch. The last big game that they're doing. It feels that way.
I don't know. I don't know what you do unless you do the next. I do
like,
not
unless
believe
they're like, I can't see them. I can't see them being like, okay, we're releasing this, and then we're gonna do one more Mario. When it's like before the new Switch comes out, I'm just like, well, why wouldn't they just put the new Mario on the new Switch to just kind of like a banger to start with,
no,
and have like
every console, every Nintendo Swan Song has had a gentle push into new one. They did it Zelda twice, both Breath of the Wild and Twilight Princess. And the reason why you're going to do Mario this time, when it comes out November next year, is because that movie.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just going to be the driving force. Link is for us nerds. We're like, oh yeah, sure, Zelda's.
And now they'll have the mainstream that'll push it.
When I would arguably tell people,
get the Switch, or you could get Switch 2 Mario, and it'll have 4K and 60 FPS. And
I wish I need it. Bayonetta was very good, but there was some. Platinum Games is very good in making the center of wherever you were at very good looking, but then the performance showing up. It was one of the only two Switch games I played that I was like, I kind of wish this was on a modern day console to really enjoy. The combat's fantastic; it's so fluid, and it doesn't stutter with that. But it's the pop-ins. I'm at Digital Foundry. You guys should follow me on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, FJODR, Charles True, Dan Frijole, Sports Goofs with an underscore between Sports and Goofs. But they're just good for any of the technological issues if you're a nerd like me. And it might be you now, because now you have multi-consoles and to differentiate between what to buy on.
Well, people got pissed off at Redfall. That's coming on the Xbox. It's an exclusive, and it's coming out at 30 frames per second.
Yeah, well,
people are like, what the?
to some people, you might not be able to see the 30 FPS. It's more of a performance thing. Like when I play Black Ops at 120 FPS, because when you can unlock that, get y'all an OLED. I can't with variable refresh rate. I'm not kidding. I did feel an advantage. It's ridiculous. But your thoughts on this?
If I upgrade my TV, that's where I want that 120 FPS. That's really what I'm looking for. So, especially with the PC.
Yeah, it's so good. But let me ask you this: let's bifurcate and split up this trailer on some of the bits. Sexy Ganon.
Oh yeah,
Sexy Ganondorf.
Sexy Ganondorf. He's being voiced by the
Matt
guy.
Mercer.
Yeah, that does. He does
Critical
Role
Kennedy
as well.
He also voiced Leon Kennedy in the original Resident Evil 4. It all comes back together, kids.
Yep. So he's the dwarf. He's big old Daddy sexy Ganondorf. Yeah.
Daddy dwarf. I'm like how many push-ups is? I mean, the
voice acting's gonna be way better in this one. That's for sure.
They're this is why it's weird, because Breath of the Wild, when I was playing, I'm like, we have talking stuff, we have real cutscenes, because remember I skipped Skyward Sword. I understand the concept of Demis and all that stuff, but I was like, this is semi-competent. It's not someone go yeah half the time, and now I'm like, this is going to go deeper, and I feel like it's going to go deeper, and that's not what I prepared for. You're actually going to have like Ganondorf giving emotion. What, you have Zelda giving emotion, and then now you're too in deep, like 30 years to ever have Link say anything. But if you just have to go Princess Zelda, I'll be like, what? Like, this is a who shot JR moment. Darth Vader is Luke's father. But I am intrigued, because I still need them to kind of validate how he got back to his body and verify how he got back to his body. I think time travel's involved. That's really,
they've got the whole the whole new the new powers. That's what he's doing.
But the idea is
time
that
and space.
was Age of Calamity actually like a legitimate side story instead of being an Elsewhere? Remember when we both played it? We're like, oh yeah, it was an Elsewhere. It was a good Elsewhere. I encourage everybody to play. It's a good hack and slash for like Dynasty Warriors. But then I'm like, I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm like, dog. Like
everybody's working with the with time travel and multiverse and space and all kinds of stuff.
Are they legitimately going to make Avengers Endgame time travel storyline actually make more sense than what that movie did? That movie was more like time travel, just take or leave. I'm like, fine, I guess, sure, whatever.
Flashpoint paradox.
Yeah, if a scientist in glasses says he found time travel, that's fine. But then because their times are like magic. And I'm like, you know what, time paradox and time traveling forward or backward could be a magical construct. Why the hell not? Sure, I've seen some crazy stuff. Why not? I'll go for it.
I swear, if this Ganondorf has like the sight of all the other Ganondorfs, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen you, Link." You know, and he starts recalling stuff from like Wind Waker or from or from Twilight Princess or Ocarina of Time, just like,
what if he just transforms into them? We don't know because they're playing this so close to the chest that I'm just like, that's why I'm intrigued, because every time I felt like I knew what I was getting, because everybody on the haters who just didn't understand the game because they never played the game, I can understand your legitimate gripe about, I hate the fact that the weapons keep breaking. I understand that. Like, I get it, but you endure. And you hate the fact that the Master Sword just charges down after, like, whatever it has to do 7 minutes. I get that. I understand. But as you get past the first 25 hours of the game, you're going to have stronger material, and not everything is going to break the entire time. And then that's a whole concept of, like, you have to differentiate between archery and then your heavy weapons. I'm sorry, kids. I don't make the rules. We just have to accept it.
Even like the other enemies in the game, I think they have more variety now. So that'll be fun as well. Yeah. We'll get more different combat situations. Well, make you think.
I mean, the idea is that if they have even ways of making traps too with the modifications that you can do, that'd be kind of cool. Like a little Horizon. I like the Horizon games. Forbidden West was kind of disappointing, but I'm hoping for this DLC to be fine. But one thing is I never encouraged you to do was to kind of trap the machines because it just took too long. But if you could do that with Bobkin, cool. I'll feel okay. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of satisfying. It looks fantastic. The combat's going to be smooth, and man, it's like sometimes I do want the RPG elements in my Zelda games, and then sometimes I don't, and that's the fear of growth and evolution. But if you give me like move sets, to actually like, twirl the left analog stick and hit something to get Link to do some other things more combo, I might actually like pop a little bit. You have to see how you evolve it. And I would say Breath of the Wild's combat was very, from what I remember 2-3 years ago, was very elementary. It wasn't the most complicated thing.
No, it was, you were mainly like relying on like the Sheikah Slate and the powers from that to do some, especially at the beginning of the game, because you're so weak. Like you get one shotted by like everybody. Yeah,
if you put in that element that Dread put in, and I can't highlight that game enough. I went on the Metroid deep dive because I thought about Dread, and I was like, Dread was what broke me out my lull, because what Dread did in one single mechanic was give you the instant counter hit, and I kind of want that because Breath of the Wild kind of had it, but not vicious enough, if that makes sense.
You just kind of like with the Guardians, kind of just time your shield, and it was like, okay, parry it. All right, let's go.
I want heft. I hate to say this, but I want an execution in a Zinc. That's what we're calling it. It's everybody thinks Link is Zelda anyway. I want that in a Zinc game where I want like an instant parry and then finish, if possible. Something like that, where you build up your charge, your meter, you have them on low life, something like that. That little bit of animation is really going to take you further. Yeah, it's really going to take you farther than you think to appreciate. Because is it clone of Breath of the Wild? Sure. All the best games that are sequels are the best qualities of the games they played before. I played Ragnarok. It is the same engine and mechanics and the expansions of God of War 4.
No, they've learned. Fantastic. They figure everything out. They build upon what they just did, and they come out with like. That's why most sequel games are just like. A lot of people consider like the greatest of all time. Do
you miss dungeons?
I mean, the temples from, or whatever, the shrines, whatever you call them, in Breath of the Wild were fine. I like the idea of the dungeons, of the big temples or whatever, just like the big, you're stuck in there, you got to find your way out. That is traditional Zelda. I mean, they've never really, I would assume they're coming back in this game. Because I didn't really see anything of like the shrines or anything like that. Because like the shrines were just about trying to restore the whole world, right? So now the world has been restored. So now we got to go out and hey, Ganondorf's back. Well, now we got to go out and find the whatever magical MacGuffin that we're trying to find in this game to try and put it together and try and take him down.
I don't want the
Triforce.
A lot of this game wants.
At the Triforce. I mean, we didn't really see it like. Persona or like in any sort of way, shape, or form in Breath of the Wild, right? It was like, okay, they already have, maybe like it'll be out there and you have to go and find it, you know?
Well, I'm still annoyed that the Master Sword's broken, but whatever, right? I have to accept certain things in life that I can't get what I want. And the whole thing is, if I'm going to get a...
Samus loses her powers in every game, you know?
Yeah, well, here's a boner-inducing sensation, and you ready for this on this reveal? A Master Sword infused with the complete Triforce is ridiculous. And I think that's like what can bring it together. So imagine this big Travis touchdown light sword. I need it to be, so as a male, I'll speak for it. Men tend to use swords as a basis of what they carry. I need Link's Master Sword resurrected to be like the biggest freaking thing. And then just slice Ganondorf in half. That will be cool. That will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I like the returning characters too. Like the ones that were like little kids.
Yeah,
little leaders.
The descendants of, or whatever of the, yeah. It makes sense. It's like 100 years later. Like the other ones are dead. So that makes sense. Andrew's happy. The Lightning are winning. So they're winning 2-0.
It's a sports show, right? We promise.
Yeah, I was looking up at the sports, whatever. Is Lightning are winning? Is Rays are winning? Marlins are actually winning. Holy crap.
2-0. Who's pitching?
You're playing the Angels, though. Get to the Angels bullpen, you'll be fine. Oh, well, there you go. And Ohtani pitched yesterday, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah. And yep. So, and then basketball, the Hawks are losing. That's great. Clippers and Suns later tonight. That'll be interesting.
Cavaliers right now.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We're at 53 minutes. This isn't going to go as long, I think, because Andrew's not here. And I just wanted to keep going.
Final thoughts on Zelda.
I mean, get your tissues and everything ready for in a couple weeks. We'll be there. Like I'm buying that day one. I'm buying $70. Gonna drop it down. I'm not getting the collector's edition. There's no reason to.
No, there's no need to.
There's no.
I will just be dealing with the gas I spend picking up at Best Buy, because remember the finessing that I worked because of them messing up my dishwasher led me to a $25 credit because I used my credit for my points, the Best Buy rewards, so I got that out of that, but also because I got a $75 gift card from them. And the points, if the universe actually cares about me, and I doubt it, I look at these things. Do you know when my gift certificate expires? May 13th. Literally the day after Zelda comes out. You best be sure, kids. May 12th. May 12th is a Friday.
So you basically just pre-order it and just walk in, just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah, I mean May 12th is because Nintendo. Oh, May 12th is a Friday because Nintendo's weird. It always does on Fridays when I'm
good. That's great. I must spend my whole weekend.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be dedicating some time. So May 12th comes in, so I'm going to be coming out of work, starting my weekend, like, yes, sir. I'll go to my satellite office, so I'll make it seem as if I didn't have to drive to my work office to go from there. It was on the way, and I'm just going to come across with that, which is free money. And you can pay for it as a good person. I am a slimy. I'm a good Colombian dealer sometimes. That's what I'm going to go with. So I'm excited. And you know what? I think it's the scope of gaming that I need, because my gaming, and this is how I'll end my gaming portion before we have to go do other stuff, I guess, is that very good, but I haven't touched anything great yet. I enjoyed Bayonetta 3 a lot. Like I said, when you have that whole thing, it's like, wish this was on the console so I can fully enjoy it, because you can sense the potential. And there's a lot of 8s that have been in my reviews, and that's perfectly fine. That's what you want when you pay money. 7s are in between. 7s are like, sure. It depends. Like, what's a good 7 in that sense? Like, right now I'm looking at my list, like Death of the Outsider, which was the Dishonored DLC. It was 5 hours. I expect that it can't be any higher than a 7. And then Scarlet Nexus was 6.5, but it was a very good 6.5. There's just sometimes I come into it. But then you get like the 7s, or like the 7 that I had, which was Ghost Warrior Contract Sniper 2 from last year. And that's fine. But then if you get like a downright 7, well, no, I put Got the Knights as a 6. I'm like, man, that's just that's just gonna ruin your entire life.
Yeah, so, leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It's just like,
like 7s are fine. But when I'm talking about I'll be honest with you, and this is weird. I'd rather actually put in real money on a 7 than dare let anything 7 or lower, come into it, or 6 or lower. Let's do it that taint the cheapness
of what
I can accomplish. I can't have that happen. I'm like, it feels like Thanos, because we're recording from Infinity War. All that for a bit of blood. I'm like, or a drop of blood. I'm like, that's how I would feel. Imagine if I paid money for Gotham Knights. I would, or not pay money. My credentials. Yeah. I'd be crying. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, if you wasted a gift card on that.
Yeah. I'm like, can't get that. Instead, I use that gift card money to get me Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which led me to Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. You know what? Fantastic decision.
Yeah,
Fantastic decision.
that's kind of been like, and that's kind of why I'm in my lull. Like I've played a lot. I've beaten like 43 games so far this year. So I'm like, I'm like, I'm on pace to beat whatever record that I think I beat 119 games. But once again, I play a lot of retro. I play a lot of indies. So I get a large quantity of games from all kinds of spectrums. So far, I haven't played anything downright like so awful I can't get through it, or I refuse to get through it.
Homefront sounded like that for you. You might have finished.
Well, Homefront was the I would say was the of the, I guess, the games of the last 12 years or so, 10-12 years or so, like within that range that I've played, that's like, this is not worth anybody's time, especially when there are better FPSs. Like, I was trying to get into FPSs. I'm trying all kinds of FPS in the spectrum. And remember, I played that on the heels of playing GoldenEye. And right. GoldenEye was just like, is still a great game. It holds up. So,
that was Titanfall 2, so it's kind of like,
yeah, I played Titanfall 2, which, controls great, handles well, like has all, nice movement. The movement in that game is smooth and solid. Like, that was great too. And then so then I played that. I was like, ooh, this is the generic, like, just pop it out FPS. Where everybody was trying to do a military shooter type of thing. And so, and then they tried to do something with the storyline, but it was just kind of like, it just didn't hit. Or just like, they were trying to like eke out emotion from you from that game. It was just like, no, this is a dumb premise. The characters were awful. Like, I don't care about any of these people. I wanted the guy that was bossing me around to die, and he did, and I was happy. So, he died on the Golden Gate Bridge. I was like, fantastic, great. This game is over. I'm good. So that was the other thing. But hey, I was trying a little bit of everything. I was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. But I've got better FPSs, of course. I got Modern Warfare 2. That I got to give that a shot. A lot of people love those early Call of Duty's campaign modes. So I'll give that. I have some other ones on PC as well. So it's not like I don't have games that are good. I have Halo 3 still that I haven't even touched yet. So it's not like it's just that I kind of hit a lull, right? I've been more focusing on like my baseball stuff and everything like that, and work. So and I got my Xbox One, so it's not like I'm not gaming. I've been trying some stuff. I do know an FPS that I really do like right now. And I guess we can do this non-sponsored stuff as well, because something I have a couple things I want to shout out this week since Andrew's not here. Right.
Yeah.
So we
can play around.
We'll just roll into it. So we're from non-sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you been enjoying over the last week? All right. So I guess to roll into the video game stuff, Charles, my non-sponsor this week, as far as, or at least one of them at least, is Splitgate.
Never heard, but educate me.
Well, they have actually sponsored us during the show before with some ads, so we got a few cents from them. So non-sponsor, whatever, or a sponsor that became a non-sponsor, whatever you want to call it, but it's Splitgate.
Forgive me, Splitgate. I am dumb and I don't remember anything.
So it's basically FPS mixed with Portal.
Oh, is that the thing that you sent me with?
I sent you a clip from the game with me with like a baseball bat,
yeah, okay.
Smacking somebody in the face. So so that's Splitgate. It's free to play. I don't know who makes it. It's not one of the big companies, but I guess they do their own thing. But let me go on their website here. So, but essentially it's on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. It's free to play, so you can download it on any of this stuff. And I could have downloaded it on PC. I might do that just to get the extra,
1047 Games was the developer.
There you go. All right. But regardless, I gave it a shot. I'm like, let's give it a shot. It's on my Xbox. I have a 2 terabyte hard drive. I'll just stick it on there, or solid state drive. I'll stick it on there and what have you. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try this, pop this in, maybe play a couple rounds and just kind of like be done with it. And I'll knock it off my hard drive because I'm just trying out these free to play stuff just to see what's good, see what's not, see what I want to. But this one hit, man. I don't know what it is. It's the Portal aspect of it. I've never played Portal. I should. I should play Portal, but I've never played it. But I know of it and of its reputation. And that mixture of creating portals within the maps and using them to take out enemies from through the portals, or just using it as a clever way to move around or sneak up on people, that's what got me. So it kind of gives me a fighting chance, because if I'm playing 1v1 or whatever, or deathmatch, what have you, team versus whatever in these games, I'm not an FPS guy, so I'm usually getting bodied and murked by everybody. But this aspect kind of gives me an edge because I can just think about places I can set up, and I don't have to be the most accurate, the most quick on with the joysticks or anything like that. I can just kind of set up and try and get whatever little points and stuff I can. And so far, I have a plus KD ratio at this point, so I'm not getting completely bodied. And I put together, I sent you that clip. I'm like, I thought of doing that. I'm like, I must hide behind this wall. Somebody pops in, I can pop through the portal and just smack them in the head when they're not looking with a baseball bat. The baseball bat was an item that I found in one of the maps. I'm like, oh, this is a baseball bat. And I'm like, I could smash people in the head with this, which is what I prefer more than shooting. So that's what I've been focusing on. So I play a first-person shooter just so I can grab a bat and smash people in the heads. So it's fun. It's really fun. If I like an FPS game, I think you'll have some fun with it. Yeah. Promo code bashed brains.
Okay.
I got a second one, but I'll let you go.
Yeah, we'll go for it. So mine is kind of a non-sponsor I've done before, but it's because I've had it was such a great deal that I couldn't say no. So, one of me and my friends before COVID, had kind of, we would see each other every couple of Fridays at Buffalo Wild Wings and debrief and talk about work. I know I've non-sponsored before. So last Friday, it was we went. I hadn't seen that person in some time. So it was a catch up of what life is being.
You went to go watch the Heat game too, right?
And I was watching the Heat game, and there was an animal that came out of me in that one because I was doing the Heat game and the Yankee game at the same time, where the Yankees were just in the lead and they were losing to Minnesota. And then I'm watching this Heat game, and I was just the most upset human being. If you guys read the chat, I was like, fire everybody, trade everybody, waste of time. I hate the play-in. I still hate the play-in. I hate the play-in even if we got in. I understand that. When I said on last Tuesday we hadn't done the play-in game yet against Chicago, I can now say a week later, I still hate the play-in. It still makes no sense to me. It is stupid. It is unnecessary. Just because it doesn't make sense doesn't mean that it's not cool shows. No, it's stupid. You guys in sensation meaningful games. So the whole idea is that in the moment meaningful games are supposed to actually be found in the playoffs. That's why we have to do this stupid tournament coming up, the in-season tourney, which I have to see how Adam Silver's addressing it. And then we have to see, probably an expansion of players. That's what's going to happen. They have single round eliminations. I can see it now. Oh, from 4, let's make it 6. 8 through 12. I hate it so much. But Buffalo Wild Wings knows has occurred my pains, my problems. Because aside from getting my Long Islands, because I can't make it the house any good, it's the food, man. I can't say it enough, and it's weird because I'm not saying that's kissing Jesus, but when you want food and you're watching sports on the outside, you're enjoying it because they had their pretzel knots, which were good, but they were running a special, man. It's a limited time. Buy one burger and get 6.
It's right. It's up on the screen right now on the show, man.
And families, friends,
buy a burger, get 6 boneless wings for $1.
You take that deal because the cost. And I'm about
Charles loves some wings.
Yeah, and what am I also about? Saving money. What do I love? Saving money. I love saving money anywhere, including my food. And so I was like, yes, I forgot the burger I got. It's my usual one. It's not the chili hatch burger because I think that would just kill me. I'm getting an endoscopy.
I'm gonna look at the menu right now. So let's see.
And the price of chicken is up there. Were 6 boneless tenders by yourself if you got them, going to cost you like $11. So you mean a burger that's going to cost $14 for $1 more plus tip is going to lead you to, you know, a burger and wings? Damn right. I'm going to take that. It was the curd burger, the cheese curd burger that I have that has like curd melts that come into it.
I'm looking for the burgers here, but I'm just go down the middle. Let's see, you got wings, tenders, sandwiches, burgers. Sausage chicken sandwich. Let's see, where is this thing, man?
You passed it on the drop down.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there we go. I got it. All right, there it is. Yeah, there we go.
So that's usually the burger itself that I go with, the cheese curd bacon burger. Very tasty, very zesty. I like their fries. They're a little bit thinner shoestring fries, but it's enjoyable. But then the wings. So I messed up, and I said I got the Wilden sauce because I didn't know Wilden was going to be hotter than hot. Their boy was tapping out after 2. And I was like, oh, it was so good. But it was so good that I had it for leftovers for the next day. But it's a good environment. Is it cliche, standard franchise food? Yes. But guys, unless you live in Paris, you know, you're going to be stuck to what it is. When I was living in Miami, it was Flanagan's. Living in Martin County, it's going to be this or the Ale House. And then we were at the Ale House at the time. But they do have collectively good food. It was respectable, you know, burgers and then respectable drinks. But that Wilden sauce, you know, hold on, man. As long as you go that special, Papa might go again. Not this week in Tampa because, you know, I see a Desert Heat. I want to try that.
Yeah, they got a bunch.
Do we care about lemon pepper? Like, it's like
I have in my spice rack, I do have lemon pepper in there. So I like lemon pepper. It's not bad.
But with chicken wings outside as an event, I can never. I've never had Wingstop, so it's like, because I always talk about the lemon pepper. And,
I used lemon pepper last time on my my pork belly. So
no, that
was
works
interesting.
That works out 100%. It's got to be tangy, I think. Kick. But I enjoyed it. It's old familiar, you know, old reliable. Where I live, you know, where it's very stuck. But I'd rather go here than Chili's. I'd rather go here than
I've had disappointing Chili's. I've had disappointing Applebee's. I don't think I've had disappointing Buffalo Wild Wings.
I can't say. The only time I've ever done Wild Wings was anytime if I have been disappointed, it was more or less like, why did I just order the wings instead of just getting the appetizer wings and getting a burger? Allow yourself to channel your inner fatty. So good food, good times. Heat One. I was very happy. They're my non-sponsor. Buffalo Wild Wings get you some. Promo code Old Reliable. Even though I only go when I go hang out, as opposed to just going on my own time. But you know, we're not being picky there. What do you usually get at the Wild Wings?
Let's see. Wings, of course, and chicken sandwiches. You know.
Yeah, you see, there you go. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's chicken. There's got a bunch there. So, okay, alrighty. I'm just trying to think. Like my sister, we went. What did I order from my? I had some DoorDash from my folks. Oh no, we had Chinese food. Of course, that's what we got.
What do you usually get at Chinese food? This is where I'm going to jump here.
Sheesh, man. Last time, because I haven't eaten Chinese food in a while, and my parents hadn't either. I wanted to treat them to dinner. My sister was out with the kids because they had like a thing, and so they went to Cheesecake Factory. But I got this sweet and sour chicken, of course. I got to get that. I got we got spring rolls as well, and then I got 3. I got 3 orders. I got the. I wanted to give them a mix, so I gave them. I wanted chicken, pork, or beef, right? So I got the sesame chicken. I got the roasted pork. Forgot what kind. Szechuan, right? Szechuan roasted pork, and I got the beef and broccoli. It's a mix of pretty much a little bit of everything. The kind of tanginess or flavors that you can get from a Chinese restaurant. One of everything, right? And I don't think my parents have really I remember we used to order Chinese when I was a kid. And we always get the same thing, get the bucket of house rice and the sweet and sour chicken, the ribs, and stuff like that. But we never really kind of delved into the rest of the menu of that.
Do you feel that if Andrew was here, remember the episode when they're talking about chips for Letterkenny, and then Wayne and Katie go on a very big emotional story?
The whole town.
Yeah, I feel like, Andrew would do that for Chinese food, and I don't know why. And these are things I wish I collected.
Well, he's Jewish, so that's kind of like their go-to on Christmas, right? That's kind of the thing.
That's my go-to on any holiday. I'm gonna say now, I'd rather have Chinese food than some of my family is cooking when it comes to the holiday stuff. I'm like, because if you mess it up, I'm gonna be angrier.
Yeah. Speaking of something I've never really had anything bad of, I can't think of it.
So I need beef and broccoli. All right, public service announcement. I will order more beef and broccoli if you don't have runny sauce beef and broccoli. I want that thick gelatinization on my beef so it can soak into the rice. I'm just saying that General Tso does it. Chow, whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah.
I went from Tao, now I became So because everything where I'm at says So. I need that, and I also need to normalize that happening. I need to normalize more yellow rice. Game changer.
Yellow rice? Okay.
Yellow rice.
I'm a slave to the sticky white rice.
Sticky white rice is fine, but depending what you have, the yellow.
Well,
rice.
you do that to mix in with whatever you're having.
Absolutely.
And which goes to your point of the beef and broccoli and the sauce. To get it. Mix it in with that rice a little bit, give that sort of flavor. I mean, any sort of Asian establishment with the sticky white rice, because they all have it. Whether you're getting Vietnamese or Chinese or Japanese or what have you, like they all have it, and it's all about playing with that rice with whatever main course that you've got.
Yeah, you never trust white rice that is not sticking together like a 15-year-old clean
like
rice.
White rice because it's made to like the stickiness is I love that part of it, but it's also it's a vessel. It's not overpowering of any sort of flavor. It's not salty. It's just kind of there because it's there to mix with whatever you've got as a main course.
So we're really gonna go bad here, but I feel like the ultimate fat ass, but I have to do it when I have both the white rice as a quarter of it or a pint. And here's the thing, I don't know math, right? So there was a time where I've ordered a pint is bigger than a quart, correct? Or a quarter?
No, the quart is bigger than the pint.
So take that logic and all the food I ordered, and I was fed for 3 days. And because it's basic math, but I was raised in Florida, and I was brilliant by being smart, not brilliant for actually knowing when I was a kid and also as an adult. So I'm like, damn, I got a lot of fucking rice here. But my ultimate fat ass, and maybe this is you too, if I get a pint or a quarter of white rice, it is not the same. That's why my body also desires, in addition, a pint or a quarter of, chicken fried rice or pork fried rice. Eat both of them at the same time. I have no shame when it comes to it.
Of course not. Of course not. It's whole part of the deal. I mean, I got a bunch of rice, actually. They have extra. I left it back there.
It's something us Hispanics can never master. Yeah. Simple cube cutting, and we just can't do it, and we try, damn it. And we try. I'm like, look, you just get your rice and your beans and this milanesa. Damn it, I don't care. I'm just sitting there but if you, man, a good pork fried rice?
Yeah, Latinos.
Chicken fried rice like a pass. Pork fried rice? Yes.
Latinos haven't really, we've only really been able to mix rice with, beans, and that was really it. We've never the fried rice is kind of more of the Asian thing than anything else. I guess paella?
Sure. Maybe. I mean, that's a paella is so temperamental. Anyway, as it is,
and I can't have it. I'll die. So
that's the same thing of saying gumbo. Not everything.
Yeah.
I agree with you to an extent, but this is how I always define paella for people.
This is a Francisco and Charles show. You know it is.
Well, yeah, you know what it is. Paella to me, if you guys ever had a stew without water, that's the logic sometimes. I know it's not true, but it makes sense, doesn't it? It just makes sense, and it's terrible that we can get those. I want some paella. Ah man, I'm gonna rip up that Argentina Colombian restaurant this week, dude. It's coming. I'm so excited. I know.
You're gonna take photos.
It's gonna be so bad. I like paella
because I've been torturing you living down here with all the food, so you get to do it this time.
It is the third thing, or it's the thing I miss most from living in Miami.
Yeah, or in a bigger city of it at the very least.
Yeah, well, the thing is, bigger city doesn't mean good quality Hispanic.
Oh no, Denver is shit. I'll tell you that much. Right. I've told it on the show.
Here comes the sacrilegious point. People because I'm not far from Palm Beach or Jupiter, and people are like, oh, you get Cuban food. I'm like, sit down before I get yelled at. Everybody, I have to put on my protective hazmat gear. I'm like, Cuban food is just base, man. Very average. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
because run away. I run the hell away, man.
Because like the example on on Saturday when I was with my folks and we were looking for food. My dad was like, "Oh, he called me and was like, hey, ask your mom if she wants to get something, whatever we can get. I don't know if I mean you lived around Palm Beach, so like, have you heard of Don Ramon's?
Yeah, man. I've been to Don Ramon's.
Anybody who's been in or around Palm Beach County has been to Don Ramon's.
It's like 20, 30 minutes for me. I know exactly where you're at.
Okay, and they have like 3 different or 4 or 5 different restaurants, whatever. It's like a local chain at this point. But like, they are so basic in that sense. And now that I've lived here in Miami, like the quality, like it's better down here than over there. Like my mom heard my dad suggest Don Ramon. She's like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't like. I'm sick of Don Ramon. I've been sick of it for 10 years, 15, 20 years since we lived out here. Like, she just does not. I'm like, Chinese food is like, hell yeah, Chinese food. Let's do it.
You see, when I date Cuban women, they always hate me. But like, here's when I talk about base and everything like that. It's the idea of like, do y'all not know how to do sauce? Like anything hot or spicy or flavorful? Like every time I have plancha, man.
Have you heard like?
Everywhere
Cuban food ain't about that. It ain't about that at all.
I know, but look at what my
the motherland. The communists got rid of all spices.
I understand that, but guess what we can do? We're about improve, and I get that. But like, look, I'll go crazy for Cholula any day of the week, and that's as Hispanic as you guys are ever going to hear me, because that's how passionate I am about my sauces, that I get the accents and everything said correctly.
Yeah,
start rolling those R's. Everything comes in, but I'm like because the pollo la planchas dry. Pechuga, dry. Milanesas, like I will say this, the game changer. This is no longer a sports show. This is a food show. They're not sponsored.
We're an hour and 19 minutes. We're not going to talk about sports.
We will finalize it. I promise you. But here's the thing about the one thing Miami will give me. I'm Argentinian. How did my grandmother always make the milanesas? It was because it's a country fried steak essentially, at most with different kind of things. But it was heavily breaded, heavily seasoned. Spicy, no spice, stupid damn good because it's a huge piece of thing. The biggest thing that came into it when I moved to Miami, and I was 20, how fucking old was I? 23, 24. So I got 20 plus years of Hispanic cooking coming into my life. And when I went to all of these restaurants, even some Argentinian restaurants, but even these Cuban restaurants, and I saw I guess the Americanized name of saying it is Neapolitan. Milanesas that has the ham, the cheese, and then the marinara sauce. I was about to call my grandmother and disown her. And I joked that with my family even now. I'm like, because when I went to go see them in New York, they're like, and they're like, oh, if she makes milanesas, I'm gonna have to like hide down the tears, because that was the game changer. Because it feels like the little fat boy me was getting into it. But with the Cuban food, like with Cuban food, I like their sweets and the posters, and I like something coming into it. But the basic stuff, I'm like, all right. Like I like a good Cuban skirt steak. Though I will fight on that hill. Like I don't care what anyone says. It's nice, it's juicy. I'll take it.
Get some white rice with it. Get some of the
Cubano though is overrated. I don't care. Like I'll eat it, sure. Like I'm not gonna eat. I still eat it.
Yeah, the one at the Marlins game, like the big giant one, is as a novelty, cool. Yeah. That's fine. But it's not like
you for the bread.
Yeah. No, Cuban bread is elite. That is elite bread.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's what I'm here for. If it's like how the Americanized franchises of subs is because Jimmy John's best quality is the bread. That's the Cuban effect. I'm like, yeah, man. I'll eat it. I'll pick at that shit, man. You get that, you get yourself some.
Sheesh, man.
Like, all right,
I walk into the Anos and I grab 2 of them.
Just go.
I grab 2.
Yeah. Munch on that stuff, and then that's why, like for me, though, like the Mexican food, man, that spice and everything like that. I'm like, oh, what are you doing with that chili powder, baby? Let's do this. But we went so off track. Anywho, to bring it all back to the best that we can.
Buffalo wings.
But Chinese food, paella. Paella is good. It's just so selective and it's different, and it's not even locale. I really feel like it's just whoever's cooking it.
Okay.
It's like kind of like ceviche too, to a degree. Like I've seen standard ceviche, but then I see Peruvian ceviche, and I'm like, that's the superior one. That is your like ultra instant Goku. And I think my biggest regret is where I lived. There was a pure Peruvian restaurant because this mess with people. I like got Peruvian relatives, so I've had the dingers of real food and everything. I was like, I want to go see how good it is. Like Tita Betty over there does. Is it the same? I gotta find out, and I never went to it. My goodness, right? I'm salivating. I'm so hungry. I hate everything. All right, so let's go to your second non-sponsor because I don't know where we were going with this.
Okay, so the second non-sponsor,
Chinese food. That's our joint co-non-sponsor.
Yeah. The second non-sponsor is this anime I just started watching. I'm on season 2 now. The Devil is a Part-Timer. So the premise of this show, it's on Crunchyroll, it's on Hulu, so it's dubbed and everything like that, so you can go watch it and you'll be fine. So luckily, I mean, Hulu recommended it to me. They did a good job. The premise is the show starts out like this kind of like a like fantasy world, and the devil has started to take over the human realm of Earth, and it's got a war raging on, but there's one sole hero that's hunting him down. It has like the sacred sword, Zelda. So the sacred sword, and trying to kill him, and so she's so the hero's just about to kill him or stop him, and his power is like kind of low, but he has enough like power to kind of go into like this portal. It's like, I'm gonna go into this portal, I'll be back once I get my powers. I'm gonna come back and and take over all over again. And so the hero didn't want to just like leave him there, so hero goes after him into the portal. So the devil and his I guess his right hand man, I think his sergeant, eventually go through the portal, and it's going to a different universe, and they wind up in Tokyo. Of course, they wind up in Tokyo. They don't speak the language, and he no longer has his devil powers. He's just like a regular old human being. So both of them are both demons, but now they're just regular human beings. So they gotta make do with what they got. And luckily, like, he's very proficient in learning new languages and stuff like that. So they eventually kind of cobbled together like a little bit of a life in Japan. A few months later, they're getting used to it. They live in like a shitty apartment together. It has no bedrooms. It's just like a room, and that's it. And the devil works at McDonald's.
That's fantastic.
He works at McDonald's, and he's like the hardest working McDonald's worker of all time. He's the nicest one. He makes sure everything's clean. He's trying to get a promotion so he can stop being a part-timer and work full-time so he can get paid more. And he's like, I'm going to get paid more, and then I'm going to move up the corporate ladder, and then I'm going to take over like that. That's how I'm going to take over.
The black satire of American workforce industry done through the eyes of the Japanese, because this feels really close to home here.
Yeah, so like, and his sergeant, like, he's like, look, dude, like, you suck at working, whatever, or no, he couldn't like hold down a job. So he's like, you know what? Just go into the libraries. Like, there's like, the people have the concept of magic here. So, and it's kind of like our world in a sense. So maybe if you look it up, maybe we can find a way to get my powers back. So his sergeant's like at the library every day, studying, trying to look for information and all this other stuff. Eventually, he finds out that the hero did go through the portal, and the hero is a woman, and she works as a customer service telephone rep or whatever. And that's her job, but she lives in a much nicer apartment and all that type of stuff, and she's still like hunting him down. So that's the premise of the show. But eventually you find out that the devil, he likes being a McDonald's worker, and he's like, I'm done trying to take over the world, our old world where we came from. Like, I like living like this. He loves the simplistic lifestyle and kind of living paycheck to paycheck and working at McDonald's. And that's the show. And I sent you a clip on the group chat. I don't know if you saw it.
I haven't. Yeah, I've been held back into it.
Go watch that. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah, I will
But go
watch it.
watch that scene, and I think you might want to watch the show. I'm on season 2. Season 2 has a different feel. I don't know if they got different writers or something like that, or maybe it got, I don't know. I don't know what year this came out in. It looks fairly recent.
Good.
So far, I mean, I haven't I don't know. I don't like the premise of this. The first season seemed like they kind of put it all together, and I guess it was popular enough that it got a second season, and they just cobbled together a different I don't know, or I don't know if it's based on a manga or whatever, and it was like that. But I don't know. Maybe if I get deeper into it, because I'm only like a couple episodes in, maybe it'll get better. But like season 1, I was just like, oh, this is me. This is a show. I love this. So I binged through that, and
I'm on the Boulder of Sisyphus. With
just the premise of him just loving working at McDonald's is great. Oh man. So yeah, the Devil's a part-timer. Promo code Meg Ronalds, because that's the name of the restaurant. It can't be McDonald's. It's called Meg Ronalds.
I love Japanese humor sometimes.
It's great. It's fantastic. Like, you don't see shows like this in the United States at all. Like, at all. This is definitely why, like, man, we're over here gushing about Zelda and all this stuff, man. This is great. All right, an hour 28. I don't know. We could talk about sports, but
let's talk about
much
playoff expectations. And
all right, first round.
That's simple. The playoffs are so long, but if you watch stuff, have you enjoyed? What do you think?
Let's see. So I watched the Panthers game. They didn't play awful. They lost 3-1. I don't know if you saw one of the goals where the puck was sitting on Lions' goal pad, and it just sat there for like 3 or 4 seconds. If you had seen it and covered up, it would have been a save. But then, someone for Boston saw it and just kind of knocked it in. So that was kind of lucky. The Panthers played well up through the second. Like, I can't say the Panthers played awful at all. Barkov was not noticeable. That's kind of, they need him to get going. Kachuk did his thing. He scored the goal. So, that man came to play. And how dare Andrew think that we lost that trade at all?
Okay, everybody who doesn't know, Andrew sounds like a sweet guy, right? Right? Most passive-aggressive bastard. He knows how to get us. He knows how to light us up.
He's like, you won the trade, but you also lost it. I'm like, no. Like, Matthew Kachuk got like double the points Jonathan Huberdeau did in the same amount of games played, with more goals. And the Flames are out of the playoffs, have fired their GM, who did that trade. Like, that's how you know you won the trade.
Yeah, pretty much. It's the mic drop.
Yeah. So, but regardless, man, this is gonna be hard, man. This is gonna be really hard. I don't know. I would say the Panthers would be lucky if we got one game. First game was, like I said, they didn't play awful. I don't think Alex Lyon played awful as well. There was one, man, it was kind of a softie, but it was also kind of like he had it, just kind of went through, like touched his glove a little bit, went just a little bit under. So I don't know. We'll see. But they played during the season. The Panthers won both home games. The Bruins won both home games. Maybe things change when they go to Sunrise. I'm not sure. But that was game one. And I didn't really watch any of the other games in the other series. But the Lightning are spanking the Leafs right now, so that's funny. That would be funny if the Leafs lose in the first round again. The Rangers are up 2-0 on the Devils, which anybody who knows, the Devils and the Islanders have kind of like New York Mets syndrome, where the Rangers are like the Yankees, and that'll like really eat at them. And I think there were 2 overtime games for game one for Edmonton and LA. I think the Kings won, which was great, and then the Wild beat the Stars in overtime. And aside from that, I don't really pay much attention to the other series at this point. But I have to watch game 2 because I'm going to show up on some guy's podcast tomorrow on Locked On Panthers, part of the Locked On Sports, whatever network. So I actually have to watch that and take notes and give my actual opinion. So there you go. NBA,
Because we know I haven't watched anything hockey yet. I tried. And I fell
well,
asleep
you don't
because
have NHL 23, so how can you know anything, huh, Charles?
I'm like, all I'm stuck with, because this is Stockholm syndrome. This is what this man has done to us. This save us. What he did was, you gotta know the Lightning players, and you can know, this kind of impression, and then you can know, because he has that. You can know some of the Panthers players. I know Huberdeau and Barkov and Chachek. I was there, and I can know, Stamkos and who the hell is on there, and I know some of the Bruins. I don't know who's on the, whoever's playing right now. I don't know who's on the Maple Leafs. Connor McDavid's somewhere. That's all I know. Because I have been trapped by this man.
Yeah, you would know that Austin Matthews is Mexican, and he's the only Mexican guy.
I want to be free. I want to know, man. I want to be involved. I don't want to take assignments. I want to live, Clarence. I want to live hockey-wise. I hope he hears this clip. I think it's gonna be so good.
Oh man! All right, so NBA.
I've been watching. I've been breaking my rules.
I haven't really.
The first 2 games.
I watched the Heat game. I watched that one for sure. Interesting first game. Tyler's out. He's gone.
He didn't need to make for the dive. I don't know why. I don't. God gives us Giannis getting injured for 1 game, so we don't get swept. But at the cost of saying, this is how you know you're not going to get swept. But continue, because I got a whole PowerPoint slide on this.
My husband Jimmy. Jimmy's Jimmy. This is everybody talks about Jimmy during the regular season, but my man comes to play when things actually matter. So,
snap.
Yeah. Bam showed up. In a sense, like people. Everybody's trying to swing trades in their heads right now. It's like, oh, we could get, we can get Bradley Beal. We can, everybody's thinking about stuff like that right now. But regardless, hey, the Heat won 1 game. That's the most I can ask for in the first round. Much like the Panthers right now. That's the most I'm asking for at this point. You go ahead, Charles. We're an hour 33.
PowerPoint time. So let me.
I haven't watched any of the other series at all. And congratulations to the Sacramento Kings for winning a game. So.
For winning 2 games, right?
They won 2?
Yeah, they. You don't know about the stomp heard around the world. This is why we had
I saw the one with Draymond getting ejected. That was in game 2. Man, I'm out of the loop.
And this is why we're here. So I watched in spurts. Ironically, the games I watched were games I didn't know I would be watching, which was Brooklyn and Philly. But I'm on the Doc Rivers alert because it's that time of the year, folks.
Yeah. When's it gonna happen?
Right.
First round, second round. Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I'm saying it could be matching up to Eastern Conference Finals possibly, or at least the second round. Because what happens is you have Brooklyn doesn't match up well. They don't have full studs in there. They've had a lot of turmoil. Ben Simmons obviously wasn't the guy. They do have Bridges, who's really kind of coming into his own, and then Cam Thomas. But then you got Spencer Dinwiddie doing what he can to be, as my buddy and I texted earlier today, Dinwiddie is paid like a starter, really a backup, but hey, at least you have something to go from it. Claxton's good too, but it is a well-oiled machine in Philly to beat teams they're expected to beat. You see there's a recurring theme of how I always talk about it. You're always supposed to get here with Doc. You're really actually supposed to get to the second round too. It's not exceptional when you have the matchups of talents. And I know this is where I sound petty, and Doc Rivers is probably an excellent human being. It's just I have to pick a side, and I can't go against myself. Granted, I have had capabilities of being objective. Look at my Nikola Jokic needs to be MVP this season, even though last year I'm like, he's a person off of this.
Yeah.
Because I'm objective. I'm not going to follow the Joel Embiid mindset of 30 of most 30-point games in the season and being close to being scoring champion or scoring champion, because I say, look at what that team is. It demands you to kind of do that, right? Whereas Jokic was so close, like 0.2 from having a triple-double season. That offense really is all him. I'm like, I put it to that emphasis, but not to belabor the point, but it's just an emphasis that I try to make with people. So I like Joel Embiid. I'm very happy that he has James Harden to help him out. But like it feels like it's gonna be a sweep. You need an injury to kind of go from there. Celtics Hawks, Trae Young talk too much, man. I don't know what Quinn Snyder has. The most I could say yay for Trae Young was the fact that he got to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that team has pieces that shouldn't have been where they are now. That's the reason why they fired the coach, whose name escaped me, will come back to me later, and they got Quinn Snyder. I think Quinn can
from gosh darn it, man, he coached the Pacers.
Yeah, Nick McMillan.
Nick McMillan. There we go.
So like he goes from there.
We had freaking gosh, man, Brandon on the when he used to work for them.
Yeah, and so like I watched some of that, but then it was like the halfway through, I'm like, I'm gonna leave now. Jaylen Brown is earning a contract, and Boston doesn't want him. Boston needs to figure out that situation, because I understand you want to pay the guy. I also think Tatum is the guy too. I think you have both of them. They're not him, they're them, and that's an excellent thing. In basketball, you can go very far and possibly win with just two guys.
Oh.
Plain and simple, right? Plain and simple. Do not jeopardize it because of salary cap constraints. Look at Al Horford, like, we love you, retire. Get off the books, something. You got to make the hard decisions, but those two are still in their prime at like 27 and 26. It's
you got a dynamic duo.
Yeah,
sheesh, man.
You let the
build
Danny
around
Ainge, them. You have to let the Danny Ainge lottery play come into effect, and then there are such good talents, because as much as Joe Mazzulla has done good to take on the role of what Nia Longcheater was doing, still don't know how you do that, right? I forgot his name already. Gone, right? He'll get a coaching job real soon. But like, it is the talent that kind of brings in there, and you have to see what you're going to work with. But that part hasn't been entertaining. Like, the Philly game wasn't really entertaining, but I've been watching it. I haven't been able to watch any Western Conferences. Man, y'all start too late. Straight up. You heard what Charles Barkley said, right? Yeah, people gotta go to school.
I told you, it's the hive mind, man.
We're all connected, but like I was up today at 6:06 to go to court to drive an hour. I would have, and mind you, I didn't sleep that well. But if I continue to watch a good game, if I watched the Golden State game, which they came back or were down by, and they still lost, but I wouldn't. I would be like a walking husk, man. So you have essentially Clippers and Suns. We know who I'm rooting for here. The petty has to continue, but it's hard. Because I think what people are not realizing something, which this is why I hate ESPN, or maybe it's because of the fact that I'm not awake enough to it. Why has nobody given me the dramatic Martin Scorsese drama that this is Russell Westbrook versus Kevin Durant? Are we really going to just gloss that over?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I just realized that. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is this not being talked about? I don't comprehend, because
I think everybody just kind of think of them as like CP3 and Devin Booker's team, and then KD joined, and like they're not, obviously it's not respect no respect to the Clippers as well, so that's also the other thing.
Yeah, so I'm just like, the same thing fall into Russ, though. He got bought out and went to go from there. I'm gonna tell you now, this is terrible. If we're not getting Kawhi Leonard's redemption story for having, like, I forgot he was still in the league. I know that sounds terrible because I know he's been around, but, the guy was put up wonders. This guy hasn't had a full basketball playoff season in like 2 years.
Toronto.
He's barely on the field. Yeah. And now coming to it. And then Paul George, that team is just so cursed, because I do believe that a healthy Paul George and a healthy Kawhi with a Russ could really make a run. But the problem is, ain't nobody healthy, and you're going to get maybe destroyed. So what does this all mean? But then Russ was bought around, and I could have watched that because I was sitting there watching highlights like a fucking loser.
Yeah, and then Tyronn Lue's actually a good coach as well.
Tyronn Lue is an excellent coach.
Yeah.
And we had this debate on it, and I think too much people said it was a LeBron effect. Good coaches can elevate LeBron, but good coaches also keep that team consistent, because that's not what homeboy who got fired. Vogel couldn't do. He got his rings out, but it was more like, okay, we were a thank you service. He got Brad Johnson, all right, and Trent Dilfer, if I have to put in the football world. We need you once, but we don't need you again, kind of thing. We'll find new coaches, your John Harbaughs that come around, and then you're also Bruce Arians. Look at that. I melded it all together. I know shit. It's so weird. But I want to watch it. I want to see the petties. I want to have my Sunday, but it's at 10 p.m. tonight, man. What the damn it? I could kind of watch it, but it's only game 2, so I don't want that drama. Cavaliers and Knicks. I like Donovan Mitchell.
I'll go out of my way to watch the Warriors and Kings, especially now that Sacramento's up 2-0.
Yeah, well, the whole thing and going to that is like Draymond is an interesting character. One of my friends is a big Golden State fan, and it's the idea of like we love him and he's all that stuff. But I'm just like, I hate to say it because I feel like the old had, but you purposely stomped on a dude's ribs. It's a two-way street. That's no part of the game needs to be that happening, right? And also, Sabonis, you should just straight cold clocked him. I'm telling you right now, like it's the old Boondock slip. Wouldn't catch that happen to me though, because at some point, is anybody at least come up and push him? You gotta play it nice because your guys are gonna play hard for you. You might get suspended. Who knows? But what we know about playoff suspensions, it's always a game. It never goes more. DraftKings is too invested into it. Adam Silver is too invested into it, trying to figure out how to get LeBron to the finals. It's okay. Cold clock Draymond. That's fine. And the thing is, Draymond's going to be a free agent, and the whole storyline is really going to be like, is anybody going to really want this dude when he's acting a fool on that? I don't know. But I haven't even watched Lakers Grizzlies because it's so late. Tomorrow it's at 7:30, so I might get that opportunity at McDintish Pub if I get to go there in Tampa. I'm not gonna lie, man. You're gonna hate me. I'm very intrigued of a LeBron James beating the Grizzlies because 2 years ago when Ja came on board, I was like, this guy's a talent. He's been designed, and that's still true. But Ja's kind of stupid, and you have to have some accountability. I mean, like punching a 17-year. Look, I play ball on the court too, and I want to punch out, but I'm also 33. I can't do that. You can't do that too, Ja. But all that stuff, I'm like, let the one guy, because at the end of the day, whether you hate or you love LeBron, know that I love LeBron. I liked him before he came to Miami. I even like him out there. I hate the fact that we lost to him in the bubble, but the case Sarah. So I think there's a very intriguing storyline that Twitter has not touched on whatsoever, and that's the only thing I have social media-wise, so I'm sorry, but everything else is like, you have the guy who could be the next generation possible role models acting a fool, and you have the guy who never did anything wrong as a human being and was still hated on. Guy has a school for all intents and purposes. He's not force-feeding sushi like Kanye West is. And I'm kind of like, is this where my petty lines up to the universe and be like, well, he can't make it? Because I'm at a bigger play here. I'm at the whole like I'm dead and buried. The Michael Jordan's the GOAT of all time. I've been ready to end that 5 years ago. And that's where all my energy is going on. I think that's where we go because once the Heat lose, I don't give a crap about anybody in the East. Donovan Mitchell wins, that's nice, sure, that's fine. I don't care about anybody else in the East. It's cold day in hell before I go for the Knicks. It's not even a rivalry thing. It's just like I look at Tom Thibodeau and I'm just like, what is you as a person? Like you're excellent, and then you kind of just can't finish it, and you ruined Derrick Rose's knees. Damn it, that guy could have been transcendent. Jesus. I don't have any like Boston. I'm like, okay, sure, whatever, fine, I guess. But that's how the feeling is. You make it to the finals with one rookie head coach, and you get Milwaukee, sure. But then I'm also petty because they'll be like, okay, we lost to the team that beat us. Fantastic, that's good. That wins it all. That's how you want to have it. But then I'm like, but no, I don't want that either. But I'm looking at that West. I'm like, I could get on so many storyline dramas right now, except for Phoenix. But if Phoenix won it all, I'd be like, but you need a KD because that would be me. I'm like, let the mercenary be the mercenary. But I think the petty, because what's the fuel and the drive that I have, Francisco? I need LeBron James to come closer, because then if he gets to 11 finals and he wins the fifth one, 5 of 11, and you're still gonna say Michael 5 of 11 at 38 or 39, because I respect Michael Jordan's figureheads, but I don't know if you can plug and play Michael Jordan. We did this like 3 years ago when he won the bubble title, and I'm gonna do it again. Put Jordan on those other teams. Technically, you did with the Wizards. We're just saying. But granted, he was older and there was a badly constructed team. But if you put them in the prime years, the construction with no real major roster changes and different coaches, no major coaches, like Scotty was always there. Grant was there for a couple of years. Kerr was there for a couple of years. You had some consistency. Whereas like LeBron's kind of like coming into play. It's like, okay, I got to the finals. I sent you that quote or that tweet of the 2000s. I'm like, that was
West ain't working out. We're all right. Shoot him out.
yeah. Like just going from there.
No Patrick Beverley. Out. He's gone.
Yeah, precisely. But he couldn't do the good. Then he comes to Miami and he was the focal point. There was the concept of shooters. He said, I want to be the point guard. Mario Chalmers, we love you, Super Mario. We do. Calm down. Just calm down a little bit with your Twitter hating, but you were able to do some too. So, granted, I always joke that we shouldn't have had one. We only should have one, not the second one, but that's fine. Or the first one, but not the second one. But that's okay. We'll take it. We respect it. We go from there. It's fine.
Honestly, that we could have won in the last year too, but that AC game, where it just kind of
Yeah.
cut out. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how you continue a game when there's no AC. Like did like in baseball. Baseball doesn't even do that.
David Stern wanted to jeopardize it because I think that was his final year, right?
Man.
I
Probably.
feel like it was.
I don't know.
Like it was. My pettiness of David Stern had to preserve the legacy of Michael Jordan because he was protecting him with all the gambling. And it's like, no, not me. I know. I'm really petty when it comes to Jordan, and I like Jordan. It's fine, but I'm just saying there was just some heavy protections to the man as you get older. That 30 for 30 was done so people don't remember and want to deep dive into Jordan to reassess your love of the man. All right, so Stern announced that he would step down as commissioner February 1st, 2014. Yeah? Was that? Yeah, so it was Stern was still around when the second game happened or when that AC game happened. Yes, my conspiracy theory was
the script.
And then you go to the bubble game and you say, I want Anthony Davis to do it because we always like Davis. He was just really injured. And you construct this thing, and that's impressive to me. And I am all for the narrative. I'm all for the narrative because it really puts the bet. It makes Skip Bayless suffer, and I love it. 2, it makes Stephen A. Smith just be so angry because that was always the whale that he wanted to go to the Knicks. Same thing with KD, and he can get it, so that makes him suffer too. The guy is in suffer. Good to see Mike Wolf on, but he's looking. I feel like how old I'm getting.
I mean, they're like in their late 60s, 70s, man.
I know it's messing with me. I'm like, oh man, I'm really getting. I need some of the new blood coming into it. But that is the agenda that I'm pushing for. I feel like that's where the petty soul is coming. Because the thing about basketball is that if my team is eliminated, I will find that new team to migrate to fully support them and go from there. I was all for the Warriors last year because the idea, I'm like, you know what? Get that petty in there. You were injured for the last 2 years because you went harder than anybody else did. No one gave you the respect. You never cheated. You never had like people doing some dirty stuff. You didn't do no weird kind of trades. All you did was get KD to convince the buy-in. He became the greatest mercenary known to mankind as a basketball player. That's fine. I was like, fine. But that was then. This now, I don't know if I'd go for the Kings because here's the thing. I remember I texted you or in the chat many months ago when like we were third way of the season. I'm just like, I don't know how to feel about Sacramento actually being a competent organization. I want consistency, and then when it comes to Denver and Minnesota's trash the way they're built up and roster built up. But if it was Denver, I mean, the only idea is that I don't hate them like I hate Phoenix. My whole thing with Booker is like when you're put as being the guy, you should always have that level. I'm glad that you're meeting those expectations. I'm not saying the guy's not worth his money. It was not the Ben Simmons comment. If I really don't care about your game, but I'm just saying sometimes it's the focal. But there's the MVP argument that we made last week, right? For Jokic. And I'm just kind of like, if he gets that one ring and 3 MVPs, that really is going to shake up the foundation of former players.
What's Perk going to say now?
And I take little.
Who was it? DeMarcus? Yeah, Boogie. Boogie was saying that. What's he going to say?
It was so weird hearing Boogie saying all that because the idea is like you should want to be supportive of guys like Jokic because that is what you could have been in your prime without the injuries.
He's jelly.
Get you as a power forward like center. Boogie was fantastic with the Kings. It didn't work out in New Orleans because that's just a bad. Bigs who aren't spacers don't work because if you look at Denver, they have their big. They don't put other bigs like that. They go from there. It doesn't work. That's like us just calling Hassan Whiteside like, hey buddy, go from there. It works with Bam. So here's my PowerPoint program, the Heat, because it's a sports program and I can keep it short because the Cage is really going to be like
more an hour point. 50.
Yeah, this is gonna be 3 minutes on my PowerPoint, 5 minutes, and the Cage is gonna be really short because I'm behind on wrestling. PowerPoint onto it. Okay, so we're not gonna get swept. Fantastic sensation. We lost the only person who seems to produce offense, not named Jimmy Butler. Victor Oladipo has been a nice $10 million tax deduction, is what I'll call him. I like Oli. It's just not working out. Part of it is on Spo. Part of it is just the offense not
being tailored.
So it's there. And I'm sorry. But Gabe Vincent, Strus had a game. Okay, it's the Max Struss game or Strus game. That happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
Mario Chalmers had a game.
Mario Chalmers had like 3 games. So put some respect on that man.
Okay.
I have to. I'm petty. I'm sorry.
That's true. No. I was there. I saw it.
Yeah, but it's the buildup. And if you look at where Strus was making those threes, where he was making those threes. If you saw the highlights, watch the game, it was dead in the middle of the 3-pointers, like to make sure if it's going to if it's going to bank shot it just in case he's off it. It's a shot that a lot of people could attempt to make and possibly make if something goes awry. Jimmy was beautiful. Fantastic. Excellent. I can't ever speak highly of him. Kyle Lowry, you know my opinions on it. I'm not going to waste my time stressing on it. Andy Ellisberg and Pat, why? Just why? Why? Because it goes back to, like, if we had somebody facilitating offense and going from there. My biggest problem is Bam Adebayo. My problem with Bam Adebayo is that the last 2 seasons, when we got into the playoffs, it felt like the lights got too bright. And he is not aggressive enough when he's getting an offensive rebound to try to at least try to go back in. And I was watching it with my eyes when after Giannis went down, and it felt like Bobby Portis was bullying the man, and there was a lot of hesitation if he should kind of shoot for it. You, in theory, and I'm not saying that people should go for injuries. You can avoid injuries, but you gotta go for like the put in, the put back, the shot, the layup, the whatever is. You don't think that there's going to be a block coming anytime soon to like try to get the foul. Bobby Portis is okay human being, fantastic person, going from there, but he's not the one who strikes fear in my heart, you know. And I'm just like, what is this? And his stats at that game, at the end of the game, was what seemed to be good, you know, coming from it. And I'm bringing it up now. This is how technical I have to be, guys. Where he had, in that one game, he had 20. Is that correct? 22 points. Why can't I just get what I need? Jimmy was the point thing. Jimmy was on there for 43 minutes. That's how I'm going to start this. He was there for 43 minutes, putting out the game.
That's what Spo said. He's like, yeah, I'm playing this man 44 minutes at least.
Yeah. And then you had, here, I got the box score. This is what I wanted. And then you had Bam out there for like 33. Bam finished out 22 with 9 rebounds and 7 assists. So, yeah, he's passed the ball. But a lot of that felt like stat padding on the end of the runs. The defensive end was coming in. Bobby Portis, who was primarily guarding him along with Brook Lopez, was able to get some more done into it. Bobby Lopez had 21 points. And, you know, it was when Kevin Love was kind of coming around that I was like, all right, we'll go from there. Because I think they switched off Portis and then Lopez on him. And then, you know, it felt like they both kind of had their ways to go from there. Not necessarily on the rebounding board. Bam does have that life, but you got to be aggressive. You got to be smart. Because the thing about playoffs is where you really have to try to see about taking into those fouls and getting to the free throw line. Bam's a very good free throw shooter. I've said it in the beginning of our season, for not this season, but prior season of the show, when NBA come into it. I know the ceiling I'm getting out of this man. He's never going to shoot threes. I don't need you to shoot threes. If you actually had real legitimate three-point shooters instead of dudes who just shoot the three and get it in, sorry, I got to say it as it is, right? Then you wouldn't have much of a problem. So I'm not expecting – Bam might have the one game. Was he defensively fine? Sure. Did he help with the block on the playoff? Okay, but he played bad on the play-in when there was other bigs out there. And it kind of seems like he feels out of sort. Would I imagine if you had a point guard who allowed him to do a pick and pop or a pick and roll to alley-oop it in work? Yes, but therein lies the other problem. What are you getting? Kyle Lowry had 19 minutes. He's not healthy. I get it, but then it's like, do we look at that rotation? Oladipo didn't play, obviously, in our game. But then you have Gabe Vincent, who's your point guard, and he's like a safe player, it feels like. But on the Lowry topic, if I wanted an old veteran who's kind of injured but maybe able to come off the bench, what was getting rid of Goran for it? I think Goran's game would have worked more with Bam to help him figure out how to go through those lanes to get those put-ins. It's not wasting Jimmy's time because Jimmy knew what he was signing up for. Jimmy took us to the promised land in the bubble. He has hit what he needed to do, and if we never come into the playoffs again, it was a successful signing. Absolutely. Jimmy is not the future. Unfortunately, it's Bam at 26, and I'm just like, he's 25. It'll be 26 in July. What's the bag of peanuts you can get for the guy? Because now we have no Tyler. You're going to be expecting him to go from there. You just got to go. Spo, you can't hear me, but you just got to go with Duncan Robinson. Like, I don't know what happened with him in 3 years. I know he's heavily overpaid, but I need somebody who can ideally Just try. You have nothing to lose now that Tyler's gone. And here's the thing: Tyler getting hurt hurts because he just got that max contract, and people are already talking trash about it. And yes, your playoffs have to come from there. It was a bad dive, but you know what? We at least are collected for Tyler. It is still better than what we were signing for a homeboy. Do you remember the poison pill? 6-7 years ago, he went to Brooklyn, and we had the
Tyler Johnson.
Tyler Johnson, thank you.
I saw
Tyler,
a tweet like somebody's like, I can't believe this is an NBA roster.
right. Tyler Hero is not Tyler Johnson. That's why he has Hero in his name, right? The same energy I would say for Duncan. We're stuck with it. You really have no other choice. No one's asking you to help him put in for his trade value next year, but it wouldn't hurt, right? Because now you're just playing with house money. At this point, I just don't know what you're doing. And then here's the thing too: if you believe in the concept of big time games and experience of veterans, which I think good coaching trumps that sometimes, unless you're getting blown out and then you need the vets to come in. Robinson's been in high end positions in this roster in the playoff rounds, not Vincent, not Struess, right? So maybe just give me something. That's my PowerPoint. Let's go to the cage. Let's get it done. I'm sick of this. I hate you, Andy. I just hate so much.
All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Welcome everybody to your weekly Truplex, the Cage with Charles. Full disclaimer: wrestling is not fake. It's a stage fight. It's a scripted fight. It's a poetry in motion. It is a soap opera. It's men and women being the holy hell of each other, trying to chase championships, accomplish their legacies as they retire, as they're bringing in, and beat the holy hell out of each other, be on the Mount Rushmore, and also the Charles Twitter feed spamming that he does in the group chat for the relevancy. Couple of things to talk about. Impact crowned both a new world champion, Impact champion, and new what was it? It's not Divas. I'm getting. I want to say just call them Knockouts champions, not women's Knockouts. The power couple, Steve Macklin and Deonna Purrazzo. I'll highlight them for a second because we don't talk about Impact. Deonna Purrazzo was let go by WWE 3 years ago, went back to Impact, redefined herself, got her opportunities built in. Because some people say, oh, they redefined themselves. Not really. If you just don't get a chance on roster, she was in NXT, never got called up. If you don't get a chance on rosters, what can you do? She went against Jordynne Grace for the vacant Knockouts Championship because Mickie James had to vacate it because she's injured. She won it in the main event. They put her at Rebellion as main event. Good for her. She's a 3-time champion. Her husband, Steve Macklin, who used to be Steve Cutler, who I actually saw in person when I used to go to the NXT shows in Fort Pierce, he was called up to the main roster with Forgotten Sons with Murphy. With Blake Matthews. Where do we go? Blake Murphy and then Jackson Riker. Riker made a January 6th kind of feeling comment that led to everybody kind of get a release. It's not their opinion. So Macklin came back. He was being built up to go against Joshua Alexander, the Walking Weapon. We love that nickname, and he was a very good wrestler itself, who had been Impact champion for such a long time. They were building to a feud, and they were supposed to wrestle at Rebellion, where I think it was predicted that Macklin was going to win. What happened was Alexander got hurt. He got injured. He had to vacate the title. So it was Kushida, who we enjoy as well. See Kushida live as well. Fantastic wrestler. Going against from New Japan. He had some time in NXT. Fantastic match against Walter, if you want to watch that. Or watch any of his Battle of the Super J Cups in New Japan. They had a match. Macklin wins the Impact Championship. Go ahead. Let's see what happens. Impact, the hard part is that the wrestling might be good, but the characters might not be invested in. But it's something that comes on my TV every now and then. So I'm like, all right, I'll divert the time. Twitter's a beautiful source of information for me as I follow through to see some cool stuff. There's a lot of good wrestlers there. Speedball Mike Bailey. He's someone looking at Trey Miguel's good as well. The women. Is it fair to say the Impact's knockout division is better than both AEW and WWE? Maybe look into it. I think I sent you guys with Killer Kelly stapling everybody and then getting Moose's groin. I'm like, wrestling is weird sometimes, but they have Rosemary. They had also Gail Kim is overseeing that women's division. She was fantastic in her time both in Impact and WWE. So that's a little bit highlight, something a little different, right? New Japan. We already talked about handsome Kiryu Kazuma, aka Sonata, being the champion, but I got to talk about Bullet Club. We got a Bullet Club problem. Very briefly, we'll talk about the Bullet Club problem. So Jay White was the leader of Bullet Club. He left, his contract expired in Japan. He was set to go to WWE, but then he went to AEW because the higher-ups in WWE didn't want to talk to him. I don't think that's true. What do I know? I'm not an insider. I just think that Jay White would have succeeded better in AEW. So you would think that he's out, right? He went to a new organization. He would still not be part of Bullet Club. We'll hold that thought for a second, right? Because as you know, Bullet Club is just everywhere in the world. It's kind of like having, crabgrass just sprouts out in areas of your house. It might not be in the same area, it might be in the back, it might be in the front, but it's just there. But the leader of now the New Japan Bullet Club is David Finlay. I'm not really into it. They got Clark Connors into it. The internet's not really into it. They kicked out ELP, who I'm a big fan of, El Phantasmo, who's basically a headbanger. And I'm like, ugh, I don't know if I'm feeling it. But what do we know about New Japan AEW, Francisco? They're going to have the Forbidden Door pay-per-view. And I hate that damn title. If you're already cross-branding people, it's not a longer Forbidden Door. Call it like, climbing the summit or something. I don't know. A joint efforts. Just call it joint efforts. I don't get what the idea of it's cooperation. So that's in June. So hear me out here. David Finlay is now the leader of Bullet Club in Japan. He's building a team. He's kicking people out. Jay White just went over to AEW, got signed with Tito Juice Robinson, who's part of Bullet Club, and now they have a new stable, Bullet Club Gold, the Bang Bang Gang, the High Rollers. So I'm like, don't do this. I don't need to see a pay-per-view of a joint promotions detailing the battle for Bullet Club's soul with talent. Jay White is so much more than Bullet Club. He had to earn it for a couple years, but the mic work, the talent, the look, he changed. He grew a beard. He got into even more better shape. I can't get behind it, but New Japan was stagnating. I think there's a good future for them now. They got Sonata in play, and Kenny Omega still the IWGP US champion, so you're gonna get some good matches of Forbidden Door. But do not let Bullet Club. You could let it die if you want to. That's perfectly fine. But it's giving me that WCW NWO phase where it was NWO, NWO Wolfpack, NWO Hollywood Elite. It would have many factions, and we're just not for it up in here right now. I don't have much else on New Japan for the moment because it's slow moving. AEW, I think I mentioned it, and I'm just gonna do highlights on it because I watched some AEW last week, but you know what, man, I just don't remember, which is weird because sometimes some things stand out and something. So I think it's because I went to go play Bayonetta, and that was my focus because I know that Zelda's coming up, so it's a rush. But I will say this: if I didn't say it last week, I'm gonna re-say it now. Adam Cole, Bebe, we love him. Seen him live. I've always been a fan of him when he was in the Ring of Honor stuff, and they came over to WWE, and then he went over to AEW. He's probably going to be the guy who dethrones MJF eventually, but I am very much a big fan of what they're doing with the MJF four-pillar storyline to get to possibly a fatal four-way double nothing. Sting still has it. I think that's where I left off on because I was seeing his promos because they had Darby versus MJF in like a promo thing. A Sting came on and he was just giving all the shouts. This man is like 60, piping the mic better than everybody else is doing. Loving everything that he's doing in between. Showtime's coming to an end, but damn, it's been a good ride. Because you got to remember, this guy got injured WWE, was retired, wanted to come back to WWE, didn't want anything to do with it, proper liability. Went to AEW and has been enjoyable, and I have enjoyed it. The other highlights about AEW, if I hadn't said it before, I'll reiterate back again. I am still 100% behind the Elite versus Blackpool Combat Club. Give me into Anarchy in the Arena, give it to me Stadium Stampede, whatever you have to do, because anything that has Bryan Danielson leading the charge as a heel is worth my time. Plus, him and Omega could bang, bang, man. Him and Hangman did some good bang, bang matches right there. It was a humper, as Sean Ross Sapp says. He does Fightful. I'm gonna give some shout outs to people I follow. Why not, right? Denise Salcedo, Will Washington, go on from that end. But wrestling is getting kind of good and juicy there. They still need to work on the women's division. I've been saying that for a while because there's a lot of good talent there, but there's some misplaced. The bigger rumor is that CM Punk's coming back. Sure, why not? Fine. It's not like he hasn't had good matches I want that I didn't enjoy. Him and Eddie Kingston was fantastic at Full Gear a few years back. My problem with Punk is I just don't think he should be having a main title, right? Like, just give us good dream matches. Let them enjoy each other and go from there. But they had the brawl out, so him and Jericho and others are meeting to see if they can work together for business. It's good for money. So, if you can get a good cut of it, you obviously do what's good for business. And then, what was the other thing I want to say about AEW? We're getting another damn show, dude. We're getting another goddamn show. The right now, the leaks of it from Warner Brothers Discovery is that they want to do a 2-hour show on Saturday that could be preempted, but be put into different time periods. And in one side, it makes sense because, okay, when we had the down seasons of no sports, so August to November, right? That's typically around TNT and that spiel and TBS. Sure, you get something to get some consistent stuff. I don't know who watches wrestling on Saturdays anymore. It's not the 80s and early 90s where you have WCW Saturday Night SmackDown or Stampede or whatever it is. Not SmackDown, I'm thinking WWE. But I'm like, 2 hours wrestling. I mean, you already have Rampage that doesn't push a story. that much. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You have AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation, which is on YouTube. What are we doing here? Why can't I just get a streaming service? You have been around for almost 4 or 5 years. The library is building up better, right? You got some pay-per-views. I'll pay for it. Sure. I'm not asking you to give me a Peacock level of deals. However, make it cheap enough. I don't want to pay $50 for it. Get out of here. I don't know what we're doing. If we're going to see, I think the rumor says I can call it AEW Collision. I'm like, okay, we're going to create a Collision title, because you got to remember too, Tony Khan's got some other stuff. You got a 2-hour show for AEW that's about to come in, but you don't have a TV provider for Ring of Honor, because we forgot about that, right? So you have it on the Honor Club, which you pay $10 for. You could watch it, but that's not going to get you as much ad revenue and money as being on a big broadcast. Why can't we get, you could, shit, man, I don't care. You can relabel as AEW presents Ring of Honor or AEW Ring of Honor, whatever. I think they kind of say, oh, it's a separate entity, separate merger. Then why are you cross-referencing your wrestlers there? Man, it's just freaking like a J-Star, fighting game, if you remember those, right? Everybody, though, just think Marvel vs. Capcom. Easier for the kids who don't play like weird anime fighting games like I did. So there's that. Yeah, right, nerdies. And then we get to WWE. I don't... Roman's still Roman. Bloodline's feuding with Owens, Sami Zayn, and Riddle. They're bringing some people coming into it. That's what you need to know about that one. It's interesting, but it's the same stories going on. Andrew's right. It is stale. I think Roman's title is ending come at the Night of Champions, which has him at 1,000 days over in Saudi, but we'll talk about that when that comes appropriately. I want to highlight a couple things. Gunther is awesome. We still love him. He's going against Xavier Woods on Friday. Watch it on SmackDown. I'm kind of over Theory as U.S. champion. He's kind of in direction because they're doing a draft. That's probably actually what I should start on. So they're doing a draft, so they're going to reassign who goes to SmackDown, who goes to Raw, who's going to be on USA, who's going to go on Fox. And that works because the idea is that we're getting too much of crossovers now, and I need that separation. I don't think they're going to create a new title to put the World Championship onto Raw. I think they're just going to let it play out, and I'll tell you that theory when the time comes. But it's needed. Get a little Schulte in the arm. They haven't had a draft in a long time. I want to see how Triple H wants to set out. The quality's been good. Charles has been enjoying it. Look at Gunther. Just look at him with that title. And he says he doesn't like goofs, but does he like sports goose? Love us, kids. Give us money on Patreon and buy our merchandise. You get Andrew's Fire Thighs stuff, and then my hair handies. Cold Job, we're at 3, could be 4. Just saying, it's a little update going into it. But I'm going to take a moment here. Not a bad moment, not a despicable moment, but Trish Stratus. I remember you when I was 10, 11. Remember you now when you're 33. You still have it. This is how you bring in legends. You don't bring in legends for the nostalgia stuff for other people who can't do anything, aka Goldberg. Sorry. Sometimes I enjoy Goldberg stuff. Not really, right? Definitely not recently. I did enjoy his match with Bobby Lashley at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view a couple years back. But Trish Stratus coming back in, attacking Becky Lynch, turning heel, cutting a very decent promo. I can't even look at that Twitter feed right now, Francisco. I'm looking at my TV screen to avoid. Cutting into a excellent promo about how she ain't no sidekick, she ain't no legends or stuff like that. She is the reason why the women's division exists. She's not a hand-me-down to be forgotten or nostalgia act. I'm here. That's how you do like the legends coming back, right? She had an excellent match with Charlotte a couple of SummerSlams ago. She had a pretty decent match when she was in the women's 6-woman tag match that they had at Mania. Her and Becky is just going to be so good if they're able to get that at SummerSlam. I don't know how you make that feud last for 4 months or 3 months. Life finds a way. I don't think you could do it. Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, it's not going to have the same effect, I feel, for me as a fan. I want to see what Michigan, where they're going to hold SummerSlam, is going to hold into it. And everybody, even my paralegal is like, yeah, this is good. That's how you got me, where you have something that is a feud that can have something good to make. Because Becky Lynch is top tier quality. She is one of the best wrestlers, if not, I hate to say it, the best wrestler in the program for WWE. I don't hate to say it. It just goes to show like she can be this good without a championship. And that says something to me. When you don't have feuds here for a title, it's about two people. One about their legacy and keeping their legacy and wanting to have you remember the name. Ha ha ha. I've been listening to some Linkin Park stuff lately. And then you have another one who's trying to cement that she is the best and she is the man. That was her motto a couple years back, and that's coming back into it. And that is more interesting at the moment than Cody and Roman. Or right now, Cody Brock. I'm just not into that, man. I don't know why. Like, I could be into it, but the whole thing, Cody had to fight off guys that beat up Brock. It's easier if Brock would just came out there and try to talk or laugh, and then Cody just hits him with a chair to get that idea. A babyface beating up security guards so he can beat somebody's ass is not really a babyface, right? It's just somebody who got prevented from beating somebody's ass. I'm sorry. Cody coming out with a pipe and busting out some of Brock's knees. I'm like, yeah, babyface is angry. But then we're getting Trish and Becky, that you have layers to it. You have time to flesh it out. You can talk about betrayals. You can talk. There's a very telling story about the concept of like what our time and what our run and how we want to get respect for the efforts that we put in. Women's division, what a joke. Divas division, what a joke. The four horsemen, what a joke. What about the Stratisfaction era that I brought in? I get that. I vibe with that. I understand that, man. It works completely. And there's Becky Lynch saying, I am the pioneer. I am the best of the horsewomen. Let that kind of marinate. Right, we can build into it, and then I get Cody and fucking Brock, and I'm sure the match will be fine. The WrestleMania match showed that Cody can hang with the main event. Really, anybody who saw him AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Japan knows he could do it, but the WWE fans might not. So you have to let that marinate. I still think, I do think it was the wrong decision to have him lose, but I can also understand the idea that we have to owe it to ourselves to figure out if the product that we have is good. Is it lemon pepper sauce or is it wild sauce? Right. In that sense. So they have seeds to get me invested. My thing with the Cody Brock match, because I see it on the screen, so I divert to it, because May 27th is close. Or is it May 27th or May 7th? It's close enough.
May 6th.
May 6th, thank you. Oh my goodness, that's Cinco de Mayo weekend. And we have Splatfest. Bud. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. There's gonna be a lot of sad boy music, tequila, and angry Cody Rhodes here. Jesus, that's a perfect storm. This is where I'll lead you on. Brock, you got to give me more than a 10-minute match, man. Your Mania match with Almost was limited to 5 minutes actual. I enjoyed that match, actually. I'll tell you that right now. Some of your other matches, you have been full, but to let Cody work, he can't just spam finishers on you. He almost took down a Titan with Roman. He's got to take down a Titan you properly. Do I think Brock wins that match? No. But if Vince is in charge, maybe. I don't know, man. Like, that's the hard part. And that's all I got for you this week on the cage. A little bit longer than I expected, but still good.
Yeah, you kind of did like an overall thing. You touched upon on 4 different promos there. So, all right. Well, I think that's it. Andrew's not here, so I don't want to do Frankly Frank and give my thoughts and stuff. But I will say you guys gave me some bangers.
Get Rich or Die Trying.
I mean, both
is fantastic.
And he gave me Alanis Morissette, Jagged Pill, whatever.
Yeah, which I like. He's like, I'm surprised.
Just like hits after, like, just dear Lord, these people were on top of their game. Okay, 50 Cent and Alanis Morissette, 2 completely different ends of the spectrum for music, but regardless, yeah. All right, well, that's it, everybody. We're out. It's late. Bye-bye.
Good night.